Elect Trump's thank you tour arrives here in West Allis later tonight, where supporters armed with hats, boots, and gloves are already lined up in the bitter cold to see him. And in a state that Mr. Trump turned red on election night, he'll be joined here by Vice President-elect Mike Pence, House Speaker Paul Ryan, and Governor Scott Walker. And this also after the Green Party's election recount was finalized, sealing the president-elect's win. This also ahead of more thank you stops for Donald Trump this week in Pennsylvania, Florida, and Alabama. Lisa.
Thanks, Jeff. On Wall Street, another record. The Dow up 114 points to 19,910. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Welcome to Geico's Motorcycle Meanderings.
Oh, man, this is great. I sure saved a lot of money by switching to Geico. I scored some big savings, and now I can use their mobile app 24/7 for all sorts of stuff. Life just makes sense now. What doesn't make sense is if a highway splits, it's a fork in the road. Then wouldn't a long straight stretch be a knife in the road? And then wouldn't a cul-de-sac be a spoon in the road? What would a spork be?
Geico Motorcycle. Savings that make sense.
ADT presents What to Consider When Considering Home Security. An ADT sign is more than a sign. It's a line in the sand. On one side, your family. On the other, an uncertain world.
For over 140 years, more people have chosen ADT to help prevent crime than anyone else. Get ADT starting at just $28.99 a month.
Tested, trusted, proven ADT.
With 36-month contract for licensing and terms and conditions, visit ADT.com.
Up to the judge whether more than one accuser will be allowed to testify in the only criminal sex assault case against Bill Cosby. The trial is set for next June in Pennsylvania, but pretrial hearings continue.
Cosby's defense says it feels celebrity attorney Gloria Allred is having some influence over the process, noting that 10 of the 13 women are her clients. Prosecutors say they want the women to testify because they can establish a pattern of behavior from Cosby. In all, 49 women have said Cosby assaulted them in some way. If the judge decides against admitting the other women, only the claim of ex-Temple University employee Andrea Constand will be considered at trial. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
An annual report card on Arctic warming could put more pressure on the president-elect and other climate change skeptics.
61 scientists based in 11 different countries working for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration report the Arctic is getting warmer with shrinking glaciers, low sea ice, and record high temperatures. In its annual Arctic report card, NOAA says the Arctic's warming is happening twice as fast as the rest of the world. NOAA's Arctic research chief says long-term warming trends are deepening and becoming more obvious.
Fox Radio's Jill Nato in Washington. One suburban Detroit family knows when to quit. Faced with a neighbor's elaborate display of holiday cheer, complete with reindeer, a large snow globe, and a huge bear on the roof, the Kelly family used plywood and a few strands of white lights to make the word ditto with an arrow pointing to the house next door. The Kellys say they started to do more, then decided nothing measures up, and they got the ditto idea from the internet. Recapping Wall Street, another record day for all three, the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ. And the Dow is now only about 90 points away from 20K, up 114 today. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Need a furnace expert this winter? Call Chief Bauer Service Experts at 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, clear, low of 14. Wednesday, mostly sunny, high 27, a low of 7. Thursday, high of 15, a low of just 13. Friday, we could get some snow showers as well.
Aren't these like February?
It's going to warm up to 41 on Saturday, and then a high of 7 on Sunday.
Okay.
A high of 7.
The weather is drunk.
7. That's a single digit.
That means do not leave the house Sunday. Watch
right
football.
now, sunny, clear, 24 in Champaign-Urbana.
It's the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lance, Jeremy Warner, we are here to warm you up. I don't know what that...
We are here to warm you up.
I have no idea what that means. I do know this. You, my friend, put together great shows on a daily basis. Today?
Sure.
No, that's true.
Sometimes we try harder than others.
Well, there's no we. Today, you have escalated. This is going to be a fantastic
Yeah, it turned out to be a pretty good show set up for you today. Austin Berkman, our producer, able to get Joe Sheehan newsletter. Looking forward to talking to him about the White Sox moves, the Cubs moves, the Cardinals moves, all these teams busy. But Joe is one of my favorite baseball writers. He writes the Joe Sheehan newsletter, which if you're a hardcore baseball fan, I really suggest you subscribe to Joe's newsletter. It's phenomenal. And we'll ask him about what the next moves are on the market here. So we'll talk some hot stove with Joe. Then we'll talk with Kendall Gill, former Flying Illini, also Comcast Sportsnet Chicago, because the Bulls welcome Tom Thibodeau back to Chicago tonight.
Oh, nice.
And Thibodeau's Wolves stink.
Do they really?
Yeah, they really stink. They don't play defense.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and everyone thought this was going to be the breakout team. Not going so well to start that so far.
Okay.
Their record is 6-18, the same as the Philadelphia 76ers.
They're 6-18?
And the Dallas Mavericks, the three worst teams in the NBA.
I had no idea.
Well, the Bulls right now are the 4 seed in the East, but the East, there's a lot of good to solid teams. Of course, Cleveland is running away with that thing right now. Toronto right behind them, but the Bulls in 4th place. The Wade and Jimmy Butler thing working pretty well. We'll ask him about Rajon Rondo. I think that's kind of the weird piece in all of this thing. But the Bulls look like they're a solid team, a better team than they were last year. And then the other side of it, I mean, there really aren't that many surprises in the NBA. Golden State's 21-4.
Shocked.
They're the best team in the NBA. The Spurs are really good, especially on the road. The Clippers and Rockets are really good. And in the East, it's Cleveland, Toronto, New York.
Wow.
Which is surprising. We'll ask Kendall if he thinks that's going to last, because Kendall wanted to keep Derrick Rose and trade Jimmy Butler.
That's right.
But I think the Bulls made a pretty good decision in not trading Jimmy Butler for Chris Dunn.
Yes.
Because Chris Dunn, even though I like his future, not playing all well. And Jimmy Butler looks like he's a superstar.
I have implored you. I've begged you to talk NBA because I need to get on it. It's just not one thing that I'll sit there and go, hey, it's 8 a.m. I'm going to check the NBA standings. I just don't do it.
Well, we have college football. College basketball is heating up.
Sure.
And this is kind of when I get into the NBA, and I'm a big NBA fan.
Yes, you are.
I've dabbled a little bit, but I haven't really focused on it quite yet.
I have actually watched cumulatively, that's like the second time this week I've said that word.
That's impressive.
I think I've watched 3/4 of Chicago Bulls basketball. I actually have enjoyed watching. For me, that's like a whole season. Well, so I've enjoyed watching.
That's all this thing is about, right?
Exactly.
The Bulls are just going to kind of be entertaining.
Yep.
I mean, Dwayne Wade's in their uniform.
Right.
And Jimmy Butler's kind of good.
And you just told me that the Sixers have won 6 games. They actually won back-to-back, but they've only won 6 games. Yeah. Hey, we're moving. If New York's winning, that gives me faith that the Sixers eventually will win.
Well, one of the surprises early in the season was the Lakers. They were 9-6 at one point. They've lost 7 straight. So
boy,
they stink again.
Everything's starting to come back to normal now for the Lakers.
But yeah, we'll talk a little NBA with Kendall Gill and some Chicago Bulls. We'll ask him about the Illini as well as they head up to the United Center this weekend. But at 4:30, excited to talk with this guy as well, Garrick McGee, Illinois offensive coordinator, is going to join us. We'll ask him about what it's like on the road recruiting. They just got back. It's a dead period now, but they had 2 weeks of intense recruiting on the road. We'll look back at the 2016 season and he had a lot of challenges, obviously, because he didn't have any kind of personnel that he wanted, right? So we'll ask him about that and moving forward, what he expects out of his quarterbacks. He can't talk about Dwayne Lawson yet,
right?
But we'll go around it, and I want to ask him, so what are you going to do this spring with really Jeff George as your only quarterback that's
you just
healthy?
Get the spring off? Yeah. You just take the spring off, Garrick? It's amazing. You said it best. Personnel didn't fit. It's one thing to not have talent, maybe the talent you need to win at the Big Ten. It's another not to have the personnel that fits your system. And unfortunately for Garrick McGee, he had both. And by the way, the dude's been bugging me forever to join our show. So finally we're going to reach out and let him. I'm kidding.
We had Garrick on when he got hired.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited to visit with Coach because I think it's a perfect time to kind of all these guys can kind of take a breath now in this dead period and say, all right, we just had a slew of recruiting. I mean like a minuscule slew of recruiting, and then the season, and then now they went out and really recruited. Now they get to kind of catch their breath. So it'll be fun to kind of catch up with him.
A little bit. But in the last couple of days, you've seen a lot of offers go out in the 2018 class. And one of those includes a kid around here, close to here, and that's Peoria quarterback Corin Taylor.
You're excited about him.
This has been in the works for a while. I think Corin's known. He's had a spot at Illinois if he wants it. But this kid out of Peoria, talent like him, talent like Kendrick Green, who's just here on an official visit, a 4-star lineman out of Peoria, that state championship team. Corin Taylor had a special junior season. 6'3", 200 pounds, good athlete, good passer. He fits exactly what Garrick McGee wants in his offense. So Illinois offers him. They also have an offer to Quincy Patterson up in Chicago and Caleb Ellaby out of St. Louis.
Wow.
Who wants the spot?
I was going to say, and that's one of those where you normally don't take. Do you take 2 quarterbacks?
I think they would.
Okay.
I think they'd love to add Quincy Patterson and Corin Taylor and figure it out after that.
The best man
Even
win.
though they have a small class next year. Next year's class might only be 12 to 15 spots. But when you have 2 quarterbacks of that kind of caliber in Chicago, I actually think there's some things Corin Taylor does that are better than Quincy Patterson. And Corin Taylor, this is his first scholarship offer.
Wow.
His first scholarship offer, and it's Illinois. I think that's a very smart decision by them. But there are things that Corin does that are better than Quincy, who has 10 scholarship offers. And Penn State has offered, Indiana has offered some big-time programs. A lot of people compare Quincy to Juice Williams.
Got it.
But Corin Taylor might be a better passer. He's not as big, but he's really athletic, and I think he's got an it factor.
Okay, I remember you saying that.
You lead a state title team.
Yeah.
He's got some swagger to him. It just feels like, I think they thought Quincy Patterson could be their Pied Piper, and I think they still think that. But I also think Corin Taylor can be that as well because he's just got a special quality to him.
6'3", is that good size anymore for a quarterback? It is, isn't it? I mean,
especially for a dual threat. I mean, if you're thinking prototype old school pocket passer,
right? You want
that's
6'5", yeah,
but
exactly.
Even Kirk Kittner was what, 6'2"?
Yeah, that's true.
6'3"?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I mean, Juice Williams was 6'2".
Yep. So I'm excited about him. I'm excited about Corin Taylor. I saw a little bit of his game in the state championship, but I'm excited about hearing from guys like you that really like what you see out of him. And, this is a kid that could really grow. He's got one more year. He put up impressive numbers. I mean, he
Huge
ran
numbers.
for like 1,500 yards. He threw for like 1,600.
Yeah.
I may have switched those around. 20-some touchdowns.
Only like 3 interceptions.
Right. I mean, and he was involved in one of the craziest games ever in Illinois high school football. So, I mean, and not only that, but they win a state title for him, and now he's got another year to show it on the football field. It never hurts to have guys like that in your program. It's just exactly what Garrick McGee wants, and that's what'll be fun to talk with Garrick. Now, he won't be able to obviously talk about these guys, but we know what kind of quarterback he wants.
Tay's Take at 5:45. Ask Lon Tay any random question you want to ask.
It's been a while.
Yeah, you can send us those on the Cheap Hour text line at 217-359-2255. That's 359-2255, or you can tweet me at Jay Werner Scout. Lon will answer anything that you ask.
Have you sledded in a long? When's the last time you actually got on a sled?
Is it sledded?
Or
would it be slid?
Have you slid? Have you slidded?
I've never used the past participle of sled.
That's a good point. It's probably not a word.
Is it just have you sled?
Have you sled? Is it like a deer? There's no deers. There's just a deer. Hey, look, a group of deer. Have you sled? When was the last time? The only reason I say this is the snow's coming up, and Andrew's like on me about going sledding, and I'm like, I don't know. I might have to go back to Camargo and see if I can. We had the old Christmas vacation, Eddie.
Yeah.
We had the old silver
circle.
Yeah, we had that thing. Don't go putting that on my sled, Clark.
It is sledded.
It isn't really?
Yeah, it's sledded.
Well, there you go.
Good for you. I've never heard it.
Well, Andrew went and he was in a free throw shooting competition. The Elks. They do a wonderful job of this thing, and it was over in Urbana by the Brookins Center, and there's a big hill over there, and we started talking about this weekend, and now he's just all over me about going sledding.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I haven't sled in a while. I don't know why I thought of that, except I thought maybe that would be a good Tay's Take question. It's anything to do with winter, which I hate.
Oh, I haven't done that. I mean,
I hate winter. I just hate it. I was talking to somebody today, so I had to drive.
We're not even like a week. It's not even technically, it's not winter yet, Lon.
It's not. I know.
You just went to Florida, so you can't go.
I know.
Again.
Have I lost my tan? It's gone, isn't it?
It's better than mine.
Well, okay. It's holding on by like strings. But yeah, I don't know. Today it just hit me. Like I got out. I know I'm wearing shorts now, but I only do that to radio. I hope people realize that. I don't walk around all day in shorts.
See, you always wear the khaks, though.
Yeah.
You're obviously going for comfort.
Oh, huge.
Why don't you just go the basketball shorts?
No, I don't like that. I've never been a basketball short or a sweat kind of guy. I'm not a sweatpant guy. Like, I'll go into B-Dubs or
sweatpants.
Hooters or somewhere. I actually bought a nice pair of Under Armour sweatpants last year because I'm like, I need one pair to wear around the house just to be comfortable. Because when Fatlon hits in the winter, which is not slowly, it's actually coming on me hard.
Winter alter ego.
Fatlon sometimes gets home and just wants to put on some sweats.
You're just doing what squirrels do.
Exactly. I'm hoarding and just eating and waiting.
I want to be stuffed for the winter.
This could be one of those days where I'm just off on a tangent. But yeah, so but I'm not one of those guys that would wear like basketball shorts in here. I just wouldn't do that.
Why?
I don't know. You
obviously aren't trying to impress anybody right now.
No.
The one day you did wear sweatpants, Miss America was in here.
And that will go
That's a
down
true story.
as one of the top 3 days in Tay and J Show history.
Erica Harold,
she walks in, and I serious, and you've seen me maybe at my worst or at close to my. That was that day as bad as I can look.
Yeah.
If I would have sat at home trying to pick out things that look as bad as I can, I put them on that day. I come in, and Stevie J's so excited to show Erica Harold around the office and around the radio station, and then they come into the studio. I'm like, oh, hi, how are you? I cannot believe that I look like this in front of Miss America.
It's the one day you've worn sweatpants.
Yeah, that was it.
It'd be one thing to have cacks on,
right?
I don't think she'd much mind.
She'd probably laugh at that and say, well, what are you wearing shorts when it's cold out? No, Lon wore sweats.
No.
Tonight, I got big news. Remember when I used to do the down in Villa Grove, our library, the Camargo Township Library, used to do plays, murder mystery plays?
Yeah.
So now they're going to start those back up. They've asked me to be in it again.
Oh.
So tonight is practice number 1.
So you've done something right in the past.
I have, I think. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good like that. I quietly do a lot for the community.
So do you have to memorize your lines?
I don't think. Well, in the past, we've always held the book. But our play's not even until April, and our first practice is tonight. This sounds like we're shooting a motion picture.
That's hardcore.
Right? So I don't know if maybe we're going to get to practice tonight, and they're going to say, listen, we're going to memorize our lines. Then I may back out. How many lines do I have?
It's a great example for your kids.
That's exactly.
Commit to something and quit first week.
Anytime you want to quit, you just do it early so they have time to replace you.
We got Joe Sheehan newsletter coming up. Talk a little baseball. Kendall Gill, Comcast Sportsnet Chicago at 4:05 to talk some Bulls and Illini. And then Illinois offensive coordinator Garrick McGee. Talk about recruiting. Talk about the offseason as well. If you want to weigh in, you can call us on the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line or text the Cheap Hour text line at 217-359-2255. That's 359-2255. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Tay and J Show. I tweet at J Werner Scout.
At Lonte, ESPN. See you.
Download the WSJK app and you can listen to us anywhere in the world on your smartphone. Go watch us live on YouTube. You can see Lon's cacks.
Yeah.
Just search Tay and J Show. Get the podcast at ESPNCU.com or on iTunes. That's all powered by GTPS Insurance. In with us today, James Woodard doing the updates and Austin Birkeland, our producer.
I got to get something off my chest before we go to commercial. Okay. Jim Harbaugh is not going to the NFL. He's not. He's not jumping ship and going and coaching the Rams.
I like how one little Colin Cowherd quip about a guest who was on who said, Colin basically said, a guest said, which I don't know how this thing started.
Yeah.
But that it is very real that Jim Harbaugh could be in play with the LA Rams.
He's not. He's not going to the NFL.
I think eventually he will.
Well, right. But right now, he's got things moving in the right direction at Michigan. He hates Urban Meyer. I don't think he hates him, but you know what I mean. He wants to beat Urban Meyer more than anything in the world.
I think fans overrate how good college jobs are compared to NFL jobs.
That's a great point.
I think
that's a great point.
Why did Saban leave?
Yep.
Pete Carroll, people say just wanted to escape USC. But going to the NFL means, one, you're getting paid probably more.
Yeah.
Two, you don't have to recruit.
That's huge.
You don't have to hobnob with all these people.
No.
You have an easier job.
You do. You really do. It's
right?
Your job is to coach football.
And there's only 32 of them.
Yep.
And Nick Saban, I guarantee the one thing that kills him
is that he didn't win.
Couldn't do it at the NFL.
Yep.
And I bet he'd want to do it again.
It'd be interesting to see him try it.
Harbaugh got to the Super Bowl, couldn't do it.
Yep.
He's going to go back.
Oh, I think eventually
he will go back. He just needs the right job. He needs the right commitment. He needs the right amount of power. He's got to be picky about it. But I do think, if the right job came along, like if Indianapolis was open
right
now.
Yeah, Indy. Do you ever
with
see him as
Andrew Luck?
Oh yeah, I was going to say. I mean, I'd want to if I'm a guy like that's doing fine right where I'm at, and that means at Michigan or wherever you're at. If you're Urban Meyer, you're Nick Saban. Before I took any NFL job, I want to know that you've got a quarterback of the future in place, and I don't mean Jared Goff.
Yeah, it's just like if Calipari ever goes to the NBA, he's got to go somewhere that has a superstar.
Correct.
Or at least a potential superstar.
Their egos, and I don't mean this bad. They've earned it. Their egos are too big now to go somewhere and try to rebuild something.
Well, Cal did it when he went to the New Jersey Nets, and they had nothing.
Nope.
Patino goes to the Boston Celtics. They had nothing. They were going tanking for Tim Duncan. They didn't get the first pick.
They didn't get it. Wow.
And you're just going to lose.
Yep.
It's not because you're a bad coach.
And it kills
it's just you're going to lose. And then Miami, they don't sign Drew Brees. And then that goes downhill.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So if he had Drew Brees, how much better would Nick Saban have been as an NFL coach?
Very true.
But all these guys want to coach at that level.
Sure. I think so. I mean, you want to be known as the best at what you do, and they're the best in college. They want to prove that in the NFL, especially the guys that have been there, and it hasn't really worked out. It worked out a little bit for Harbaugh when he was with the Niners, but then, of course, it kind of just slowly went the opposite direction for him, and that's why he bailed.
If you're the L.A. Rams, do you throw $20 million at him?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't blame the Rams, and I don't blame Harbaugh for listening.
He'd be my number one target.
Sure, without a doubt.
No matter what NFL coaching job or, the Bears, if they had an opening, I'd throw
Harbaugh would make a lot of sense.
I mean, go get Harbaugh.
Yeah, he'd make a lot of sense.
Throw
with
as
the Bears.
much money as possible at Harbaugh.
Why not? Why not? Just let's see what can happen. I agree 100%.
If you want to weigh in 359-2255, let's talk some hot stove baseball with Joe Sheehan. Joe Sheehan newsletter coming up next.
We're going to go sledded. It's the Tay and J Show.
When you need hit music, you need Champaign-Urbana's hit music station. All the hits, Q96, where they start every workday with a Q96 Minute Music Marathon. A proud sister station to ESPN Radio 93.5.
And ESPN Radio Mike and Mike, Extra Point.
You're Jason Garrett. You're the coach of the Cowboys. Are you at all thinking this week?
No.
I don't mean making the change this week, but thinking this week, if I don't like what I see Sunday.
And no, I'm letting him work through something because you're going to find adversity at some point. And depending on the situation, if it's a playoff game and you need the win to move on, listen, anything goes. But the position you're in, you learn. You don't say, in the divisional playoff that, he's having a horrible game. If we lose, we'll just learn from it and come back next year. That's a different story. Right now, absolutely not. You break that tape down, you learn from that tape, and you get that kid back out there.
I actually totally agree with you. And it's worth pointing out they are 11-2, and their two losses were by combined 4 points. It is hardly as though terrible things are going on with the Dallas Cowboys.
Hear more from Mike and Mike tomorrow morning on ESPN Radio.
'Tis the season for picking the perfect Christmas tree. And right now you'll find the perfect fresh-cut tree conveniently located at the Home Depot. These farm-fresh trees are ready for you to wander through them and choose just the right one to bring the holidays home. They range from 5 to 10 feet tall, and they're ready to be lit, decorated, and have songs sung around them. Perfect. Fresh-cut Christmas trees. Ready right now at the Home Depot. More saving. More doing. Assortment varies by store. See store for details.
The relentless pursuit of perfection, the commitment to precision and accuracy, the quest for constant innovation. For over 160 years, Tissot has always delivered by providing Swiss quality and reliability. To shop from a premier selection of Tissot men's and women's stylish watches, visit Benbridge Jeweler. Give a gift with meaning, the gift of time, with a Tissot watch from Benbridge Jeweler, wrapped in an exclusive Benny Bear. To find the perfect Tissot timepiece, visit your local Benbridge Jeweler or shop online at benbridge.com.
Hail to the orange. Hail to the blue. Hail alma mater. Ever so true. We love no other, so let our motto be victory. Illinois varsity. Fighting Illini basketball mini plans lets you choose 3 or 5 games that fit your schedule. Secure your seats today by calling 1-866-ILLINI1 or by visiting fightingillini.com.
There's no place like home for the holidays. Make Clark Lindsay your new home in one of our newly renovated move-in ready apartments or our spacious, luxurious villas at Meadows Edge. Both are ideal for mature adults who want to spend more time focusing on life's pleasures. Become a member of Clark Lindsay by the end of the month and you'll pay 2016's life membership fee even if you move in next year. Give us a call for a tour or visit clarklindsay.com for more information. Clark Lindsay, your life, your plan, your community.
DP Dough is the original calzone company, and they cater all types and sizes of events, from office orders to private parties to entire visiting football teams. Everyone will be sure to enjoy something different than the same old sandwiches or pizza. DP Dough also delivers to nearly all of Champaign, Urbana, and Savoy until late at night. So give them a call or order online when you're hungry and no one else is delivering. With over 1 million calzones served since opening in 2006, DP Dough is sure to satisfy and fill you up. DP Dough, the original calzone company.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What'll he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
3:30 from the Sports Center Update studio. I'm James Woodard with your Sports Center Update, brought to you by the Mettler Center. If you're looking to take your fitness to the next level, set up a free 30-minute consultation by visiting MettlerCenter.com. Illinois football has offered Peoria High School quarterback Corin Taylor. Taylor helped to lead the school to the 5A state championship over Vernon Hills. On to the NFL, the Patriots held on to beat the Ravens 30-23. Brady threw for over 400 yards and 3 touchdowns in the win. The Ravens did pick Brady off for only his second interception of the year. And thanks to LeGarrette Blount, I advanced to the next round in both of my fantasy leagues. I know how much everybody cares about that. The Bulls welcome former head coach Tom Thibodeau to the United Center tonight. The Timberwolves have won only 6 games this entire season. The Bulls are the 4 seed. They're sitting at 13-10. Baseball continues to roll on as the Nationals have been linked again, this time to the White Sox in potential talks for closer David Robertson. The Nationals have swung and missed, pun both intended and kind of accidental, at Melanson, Jansen, and Chapman, while the Cubs scooped up Greg Holland and Koji Uehara. John Heyman reported on Twitter earlier today that the Pirates rejected a nice haul of prospects from a mystery team this morning, seeking more MLB-ready players. Blackhawks in New York to take on the Rangers tonight. Chicago has activated Jonathan Taves from IR for the road trip. The Blackhawks are 4 points clear of the Blues in the Central. And the Blues are in Nashville looking to make up some ground. They lost to Minnesota last time they were out. Sorry, Lon. I'm James Woodard with your 3:30 update.
Shouts Factory. They're proud to release 2016 World Champion Chicago Cubs DVD Blu-ray Combo Pack and Collector's Box. Get the new combo pack containing a DVD and Blu-ray. It also includes all of the highlights from the entire series, or the complete 8-disc collector's box set, also available. It includes all 7 games in their entirety. Perfect gift for the holiday season for the Cubs fan in your life. And this week, we're giving you the chance to win DVD and Blu-ray combo. We gave out one yesterday. We'll give out another one today. That was Noah and Ogden, I believe.
That's right.
Giveaway is powered by Rosati's Pizza on Goodwin and Urbana and Vapors E-Cigs LLC. Quit smoking with the help of Vapors E-Cigs LLC with locations in Champaign, Rantoul, and Danville.
Well done. It's the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lonte and Jeremy Werner. We have a guy that texts us a lot from Troy, Illinois. They've got a Taco Bell in Troy. I hit it all the time. And his name is Bill. Bill sometimes gets us confused with the other station in St. Louis because he will text us things, and there's been a couple of times where we're like, well, we didn't say that.
Yeah.
So today we get a tweet from Bill that says, "You morons act like this means we're getting a team back. This no way benefits us. Why exactly are you celebrating?" And I was like, what were we talking about? Like, why
this is
Bill,
obviously the Rams.
Right, and then he just tweeted back or texted back. He goes, wrong station. But it's so funny because Bill's got both stations on like a quick text. You know, I don't. He's got it's not like a hot number, but it's so funny. I'm like, what? Okay, first he's calling us morons, and I don't remember saying anything moronic except for sledding in the first one. But it's funny. So they must be talking about in St. Louis. We know what they're doing. They're talking about.
Does he just have radio station in 2 numbers?
It must. I never want to meet people that listen. I mean, I do. I don't want to sound bad like that, but sometimes you just like to picture what they are or who they are. I kind of want to meet Bill from Troy for a beer one time when I go down to a Cardinals game. Be kind of fun.
If you want to weigh in, 359-2255. That's 217-359-2255.
All right, we're going to talk with Kendall Gill at 4:05. A lot to talk about in the NBA, including the Chicago Bulls and what they're doing. And, of course, Tom Thibodeau returns tonight to Chicago. That will be fun for that. I'll have to tune in a little bit tonight on that. And then at 4:30, we're excited to have Garrick McGee, Illinois offensive coordinator. A lot of questions we want to ask Garrick, not to pin him down by any means, but just to talk to him about the first season as Illinois' offensive coordinator and kind of going forward, what he expects with this Illinois football team.
This segment of the Tay and J Show brought to you by the Cardinals. Stuff your stockings with Cardinals 5 and 10 game ticket packs. Packs are on sale now, and they start at just $79. Man. Get yours today at cardinals.com/holiday. And I want to repeat, holiday spelled with one L.
Not two.
Because Matt Holliday went to the Yankees.
Yes, he did. He went to the. What do you think of that? I haven't had a chance to
ask you about that. I think it's smart of the Yankees. I mean, 1 year, $13 million or something like that. They just needed a DH. I probably would have spent a couple more dollars to try and get Carlos Beltran.
Good call.
I think he's a little bit better of a player, but Matt Holliday, I think in that park especially, can still have that kind of power.
Agree.
And he had a pretty good year last year.
I agree. I mean, he was hurt
he's
a lot
a professional
of the year.
hitter.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's a guy that can stand in there and mash. And, he's not going to hit you a lot of home runs, but he's going to hit the ball as hard as you can find in baseball. And I always worry. Every time that guy steps to the plate, I always worry for the pitcher because I'm like, somebody could die with Matt Holliday's line drives. He hits them hard.
If you need a gift idea for the loved one in your life that loves baseball, the Joe Sheehan newsletter is definitely something you should get them. I subscribe to it. It's phenomenal. And we got Joe Sheehan coming on with us now. Joe, thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, guys, I just want to be clear. If you don't like somebody, you can get it for them as well.
You'll say something they don't like, right?
That's awesome.
Joe, I got to say, I haven't been as confident in White Sox management. I'm a White Sox fan as I am right now. It feels like the shackles have been taken off Rick Hahn a little bit. They've kind of been the story here. Is there a precedent for how the White Sox are kind of doing this with as much talent as they had, but they've been bad? And what do you think of their start to their rebuild?
I think you've got to go all the way to, 30 miles away or whatever it is in Chicago to where Wrigley Field is to find the last time this worked out so well. This has been the way teams have finally gotten to. They finally said, hey, look, we have to bottom out to get good again. We've seen the Cubs do it successfully. We've seen the Astros do it successfully. The Brewers, the Phillies, the Braves are at various points in this happening. The Padres are just starting out. And now you see the White Sox on this road. And excuse me, guys, they have the advantage of having players like Sale, players like Eaton to kind of kickstart the rebuild. If you don't have talent like that, it's obviously harder to do. The Brewers are an example of a team that they made the Greinke trade, but that was kind of before this process. And they've held on to Braun. They lost Fielder to free agency. So they weren't able to kickstart their process the way the White Sox have been able to do. I think that the next White Sox team to play in a playoff game, you figure, is going to have Yoán Moncada at second base. It could have Lucas Giolito on the mound. It could have Michael Kopech and Reynaldo Lopez coming out of the bullpen. They've positioned themselves. They've given themselves a core. Their farm system just in the last week went from bottom 6 or 7 in the game to top 10 in the game. And it's very hard to do that in 1 week.
What do you think is next for them, and what do you think the hauls could be for guys like Jose Quintana, David Robertson, and Todd Frazier?
Yeah, I think everything. I think the only players right now that played for the team last year that you would say are going to be around in 3 years. You look at Rodon, you look at Fulmer. There's Tim Anderson. Those are the 3 guys you say will be here in a couple of years. Otherwise, everything that's not nailed down has to go. Robertson. You look at the market for closers. We've seen Andrew Miller, Aroldis Chapman bring pretty good hauls, but Robertson's not on that level. We've seen what they've gotten in the free agent market the last couple of days. Teams are focused on the bullpen right now. Robertson's a second-tier guy. I think you can go in and saying, could we get a top 50 prospect for him? Could we get 2 top 100 type guys? Is it going to have to be maybe a top 75 guy anchoring the deal? I think that's what you're looking at for Robertson. I would say similar for Abreu. Abreu had the great rookie season. He's lost a little bit of value each time through. Really a first base DH. Doesn't bring a whole lot when he's not in the batter's box. That's the advantage Frazier has. Frazier only has 1 year of control left, but he hits for power, and he's a good defensive third baseman, so he contributes on both sides of the ball. In all of those cases, though, you're looking at building around maybe 1 top 100 prospect and some other guys. Quintana's the real prize here, of course. Under control, he's almost matched Sale pitch for pitch over the last 3 years. He's somebody who steps in, I think, as a number 2 in most rotations. I think you can ask for 1 top 50 and then another top 100 prospect on top of that. There's for lack of a better term, a sexy factor. Even if I tell you Quintana's matched Sale statistically on performance, I think Sale's going to bring back more because of the high strikeout totals, because of the reputation as being an ace. So even if the performance has been relatively equal, I think Quintana isn't going to bring back that type of package.
You mentioned the closer market, which is astronomical right now after after what we saw in the postseason the last couple of years, and the Cubs added one of those guys, Wade Davis. Theo elected not to get into the money that it takes to acquire a closer like that. Instead, gave up maybe a higher ceiling guy with Jorge Soler. We're not quite sure, but what do you make of what the Cubs did in electing not to spend those high dollars on the closer?
They're all looking ahead to the 2018 market. The Harper, Machado, potentially Price and Kershaw market after the 2018 season. I think they want to manage the payroll. They know they're eventually going to start paying the young core that they currently have. You even look ahead to 2018 and say, are they going to re-sign Jake Arrieta, or are they going to have to go into the market for starting pitching? So the Cubs have enough concerns about payroll and about future payrolls that I do think they want to stay out of the $14, $15, $16 million range for a guy who's going to throw 65 innings. Davis will make $10 million this year. He'll be a free agent at the end of the season. I think in trading Soler, though, is as much about the roster they had. If you look at the Cubs, you had Soler, Almora, Hayward, Schwarber, John Jay for 3 spots, plus Ben Zobrist. If you look at Zobrist and Baez as 2 guys playing second base, there was a real roster logjam. There was a question as to how all these guys are going to get on the field. By getting Soler off the roster, they free it up a little bit. You can kind of see, okay, it'll be Hayward, Hayward and right, Almora and Jay in center. Schwarber's going to get a lot of the time in left. Ben Zobrist basically can get you the platoon advantage at 3 spots on any given day. The roster works better in the absence of Soler. So even if there's a talent deficit there, and I think Soler is a guy who could be, I don't think he's got the top tier upside at this point. I don't think you look at him as a 6-win player. But even if he's a 4 to 5 win guy, the Cubs have kind of solved a problem by getting him off the roster.
That's fair enough. Joe Sheehan, you can follow him on Twitter. It's @Joe_Sheehan. Let's look south from us. The Cardinals, they jumped out of the gate early with the signing of Brett Cecil. Then they just made the splash for Dexter Fowler in center. They've spent basically $100 million on those two. What do you think of those additions? And even after making those, would one more move really make them an NL contender? And I'm talking maybe an Encarnacion or something like that.
Yeah, I like the Cecil move. I've always liked him. He had a bad year last year, but he's somebody who almost doesn't fit today's model in the bullpen. He's somebody who can get lefties and righties out, and Gibbons all too often shoehorned him into get the lefty role. I mean, I don't think much of Mike Matheny's bullpen management, but if he just lets Cecil pitch the 7th or lets Cecil pitch the 8th, go complete full innings, I think he'll get their money's worth out of him. Fowler, obviously, I'm not sure he's a long-term center fielder. I'm not sure he's a great center fielder right now.
Right.
But I think you put him out there for the next 2 years, and you figure out by 2019 who your center fielder is going to be when he's 33 years old. He really has to move off the position. I think you've got to love the lineup when you look at Fowler, Carpenter, Piscotty, Grichuk, Diaz. I mean, they've got lineup depth now that Fowler really stretches the lineup from the top side. They paid a lot. But, guys, you look at the industry right now. I mean, money, I'd rather spend money on players than spend talent on players. Everybody's got money. Everybody around the league has money. That's why I think I'd rather have signed Dexter Fowler than traded for Adam Eaton, especially when you look at the price the Nationals paid for Eaton.
Good call.
And as far as going forward, I think the problem for the Cardinals is Johnny Peralta.
Yeah.
1 year, $10 million left on the deal. I'm not going to play shortstop with Diaz there. Kind of stuck at third base. It's forced them to move Carpenter to first, which blocks Matt Adams, who's a guy who can bring some left-handed power. You mentioned Encarnacion. I would, try to dump Peralta, but it's 1 year and $10 million. If you got to eat that, fine. And if Encarnacion's going to be out there for at this point, $3 and $60. I mean, if you can get it for 3 years, forget the money. The money's going to be something in the 18 to 22 range. But if at this point you get him for 3 years rather than 4, I think that's a win. And you make the point. I think that now you add that bat to the lineup. It's Encarnacion instead of Adams. It's Encarnacion instead of Peralta. Carpenter goes back to third base. I think there's risk involved there. But when you look at this core right now, they signed Fowler, who's 31. Carpenter, guy's 30, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, there's some young players there, but the best players on this team right now are ready to win now. You look at Martinez. Alex Reyes. There's a group of guys who'll be here in 3 years. but the best players on the Cardinals are set to win now, and I think bringing in Encarnacion enhances that. Encarnacion, to me, would enable the Cardinals to challenge the Cubs. If without him, they're kind of faking first base. I mean, kind of this weird situation with Carpenter and Peralta and Adams. But I think adding the 4 wins or so that Encarnacion would add for them turns them into a challenger for the division. As it is right now, they're probably the wild card favorite.
Joe Sheehan newsletter. What are the next big dominoes, Joe, out there in the market? And I guess who intrigues you the most that's left to make some big moves? Which teams?
Well, it's the bats at this point. It's Encarnacion, it's Trumbo, it's Bautista. It's the guys who've really been getting killed in the free agent market over the last 5 to 10 years. The teams have turned away from the one-trick ponies, the guys who only hit for power, and they're really looking more for the guys who can do more. I mean, Justin Turner, good defensive third baseman, can play some second if you need him to, hits for average, hits some doubles. He's the guy who's going to get the 4-year, $60 million deal, while Encarnacion and Bautista and Trumbo are kind of sitting out there, kind of, not sure what to do. A lot of teams came out for all the news that came out of D.C. last week, a lot of teams sat on their hands. The Tigers, they're kind of in between right now. They've still got the Verlander, Cabrera core, but they seem to want a lower payroll. They've been shopping Ian Kinsler. They've at least been listening on Miguel Cabrera. I'm not sure where they're going to go, and I think what they do could determine what the rest of that division does. There's a real chance going into next year that there are only going to be 2 teams actually trying to win in the American League Central. And if you're the Royals, you've made the Davis for Soler trade. If it's only going to be the Indians trying to win the division, don't you have to try to add something to go one last run with this team that won 2 years ago? I think the central teams, the Tigers and the Royals, are going to be really interesting to watch here as we get through the holiday season.
Joe Sheehan newsletter. How do they find your stuff, Joe?
At Joe_Sheehan is the best place to find out about everything I'm doing. You can also check out Sheehan Newsletter on Facebook for excerpts. I answer questions on there. You get information on how to subscribe as well.
Great stuff.
Great stuff as always, Joe. We appreciate your time. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, fellas. Happy holidays.
All right,
Same to you. Same to you. That's good stuff there on the Cardinals. I hadn't even thought about that on the AL Central Division.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got 2 teams who are going to be bad.
Yeah.
In the Twins and White Sox.
Right.
And then the Tigers were thinking of selling, but their payroll is just astronomical.
Okay.
Outside the Dodgers, I mean, they're spending like $180-something million.
Wow.
For Detroit, and they got some really good pieces.
Right.
But kind of like the White Sox, they need some kind of those supporting pieces who can come in. I mean, think of it: Verlander,
J.D.
Martinez, Justin Upton, Miguel Cabrera, Ian Kinsler. Like, this is a very top-heavy team. They just don't have enough 9 through 25.
Fair enough.
That's kind of supporting all that. But they were close to the playoffs last year, so I'm surprised. I think that's the team. I think Kansas City will kind of go see where they are.
Right.
And then they'll start to sell off their pieces because they got a lot of free agents. Lorenzo Cain, Eric Hosmer, Mike Moustakas, Danny Duffy, one of their pitchers.
Okay.
So I think they're going to get to the trade deadline, and then they'll be the team that can sell it off, or they can make a move and kind of go for it.
Depending on how they're doing.
But the Tigers, you're built to win now.
You're right.
You're right outside the wild card this year. So I figure, be a challenger to the Indians, because one injury again for the Indians pitching staff, and you might be the best team in that division.
Well, and Verlander had an unbelievable year. Last year, we know what a guy like J.D. Martinez and a guy like Miggy, what they can do offensively. Ian Kinsler, solid. Yeah, that's interesting. I just hadn't thought of that. I hadn't really put that together. And when you do think about it and think about the White Sox, now again, we've talked, at lengths about how we love what the White Sox are doing right now. But on the flip side, they're going to be horrible. I mean, they're not going to be good for the next 2 years.
Team.
They're not going to be very good. So if you're in that Central, you're going to pick up a lot of wins just beating the Twins and the White Sox, and that could put you in shape for a wild card.
One of the most interesting things is going to be January, probably, when the White Sox start getting these one-year deals to a bunch of guys. I can't wait till they sign Derek Holland to a one-year, $8 million deal.
Steven Drew.
Colby Rasmus, come on down for 1 year, $12 million. Like, we're just going to, because you need those pieces
you
just to play for you, and then you hope they have a career first half,
right?
So then you can flip them at the deadline.
Isn't that funny?
Oh, I can't wait to see the crew we put out there.
Oh, opening day lineup. We should have a segment one of these days.
The rotation's going to be really interesting. James Shields, your opening day starter.
We should just have you predict opening day lineup for the Chicago White Sox. Just go crazy on it. Maybe our boy will be in there, Charlie Tilson. He's got to get healthy, though.
Yeah.
He's got to get healthy.
Yeah, he absolutely could be, though.
That'd be cool, though, to be able to watch him. I mean, he may have fallen into a good spot for now, and then all of a sudden get swallowed up again by a bunch of young kids coming up.
Good stuff from Joe Sheehan. Follow him on Twitter at Joe_Sheehan. Didn't we have homework to do? Weren't we supposed to do a trade?
Right.
I knew it.
Right.
You called it yourself.
Oh, no.
It
was the trade for Frazier, right? No, it was.
I do want to talk a little bit about the Cardinals' next step and the White Sox. Obviously, they got a couple big pieces left to deal. We can talk about the teams who possibly could be vying for Jose Quintana, David Robertson, Todd Frazier, and we could talk if the Cubs should make a big move as well.
Sometimes I laugh at myself.
Well, you predicted it.
Hey, I've got like 4 minutes here. I could work up a trade.
There you go.
I mean, that's what Rick Hahn was doing over a few beers at the GM meetings.
That's right.
He was just throwing down fireball shots going, hey, how about this, and
hey,
that?
Astros, I got Quintana. What'd you give me for him?
Oh, you're going to take it? All right, it's done. All right, if you want to weigh in, 359-2255. It's the Tay and J Show. When snow blows, rely on Chambana Sales and Service to get you ready for Old Man Winter. Chambana Sales is home to Aaron's Snowblowers, Boss Snowplows, and Salt Spreaders. Don't forget they also provide parts and services to all brands of snowplows and blowers. Not ready for the snow? Stop in and take advantage of the December special with an Aaron's Path Pro easy-to-handle snowblower for only $425. Get to Chambana Sales and Service located at 3310 North Mattis or at 351-1959.
The holidays. So many presents, so little time. As much as we'd like to, it's impossible to make it to every loved one's Christmas celebration. With my family and friends all over the country, I can't be in two places at once. But with 1-800-Flowers.com, no matter the distance, I can still send my love with a dozen stunning roses. And right now, when you order a dozen stunning roses for only $29.99, 1-800-Flowers will give you another dozen plus a vase absolutely free. Delivering a 1-800-Flowers rose bouquet for the holidays is the perfect way to show your loved ones that you're thinking of them. Buy one, get one free rose bouquets plus a vase is an amazing offer. And 1-800-Flowers is the only company I trust to deliver fresh from the field holiday flowers. To order a dozen stunning roses plus an extra bouquet and vase for just $29.99, go to 1-800-Flowers.com on your desktop or mobile device. Click the radio icon and enter code BOMANI. 1-800-Flowers.com. Click the radio icon and enter code BOMANI.
Spend New Year's Eve at Firehouse in Campustown. Firehouse's New Year's Eve starts at 7 p.m. with a free appetizer spread and college football playoffs, featuring The Ohio State taking on Clemson at 7 p.m. Get 15% off all food all night long, plus $1 you call it specials. And a live DJ to help you count down to 2017 with a champagne toast at midnight. Right now, buy your tickets early and get our $50 New Year's Eve ticket for only $20. Or buy a 4-pack of tickets for $60. That's $15 a ticket. This is a limited time offer while supplies last. Get your discount tickets today at FirehouseChampagne.com. Don't wait. Tickets will sell out.
Morgan Stanley values long-term relationships with its clients. Mark Cushing, financial advisor at Morgan Stanley's Champaign office, knows that building relationships begins with getting to know each client. Everyone has different goals, from planning for retirement to saving for a child's education. Mark Cushing can create personal investment strategies to help you meet your retirement, education, wealth transfer, and other financial needs. So call Mark Cushing at 217-351-3630. That's 217-351-3630.
Investments and services offered through Morgan Stanley Smith Barney LLC. Member SIPC.
When snow blows, rely on Chambana Sales and Service to get you ready for Old Man Winter. Chambana Sales is home to Aaron's Snowblowers, Boss Snowplows, and Salt Spreaders. Don't forget they also provide parts and services to all brands of snowplows and blowers. Not ready for the snow? Stop in and take advantage of the December special with an Aaron's Path Pro easy-to-handle snowblower for only $425. Get to Chambana Sales and Service located at 3310 North Mattis or at 351-1959.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
All right, I've got a trade idea.
All right, first let me do this.
Okay.
We're going to give away one of our Shout Factory 2016 World Champions Cubs DVD Blu-ray combo packs right now.
Right now?
Right dang now. What number is Wade Davis? He was 17.
I have no idea.
For the Royals.
Okay.
So let's take the 17th texter to text Wade at 359-2255. That's 217-359-2255. 17th texter to text Wade to 217-359-2255. You'll win this great Cubs DVD Blu-ray combo pack collector's box. A great gift this holiday season. It's powered by Rosati's on Goodwin and Urbana and Vapors E-Cigs LLC. Quit smoking with the help of Vapors E-Cigs LLC with locations in Champaign, Rantoul, and Danville.
One of the best things that's ever happened, even though I hate it, is autocorrect on phones.
Yeah.
So yesterday you had him text in Dexter, and we had like dexterity. I mean, we had just all these different words. So I can't wait to see what words we get for Wade today, because I know that's so frustrating when you start texting and it's like, hold on, why did I? That's what Lucas Tay, who's in the studio right now,
Yeah.
he will send me a text and I'll be like, okay, in English now. I have no idea what you just texted me.
Well, because you do it so quick and then you hit send right away.
Exactly.
Without actually proofreading
Exactly. And guys like me, I just go slow and I make sure I'm correct on most of my things. And these kids, they just send in
Want it now on.
dexterity.
Yeah.
So Wade, 359-2255.
So the Cardinals, I feel like we just talked with Joe Sheehan about this. They've made two moves that fill huge needs.
Big time.
And I feel like they are, like Joe said, I think they're probably the favorite to win one of the wild card spots.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't, I think they're a top 5 team in the National League, at worst top 6.
Agree.
I just think the National League is so top heavy.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are one of those teams, few teams in the National League that's like above average to good. I think the Giants are kind of in that, and the
Agreed.
Dodgers are kind of in that. I think the Nationals and Cubs are really, really good. And then who else are we talking about?
That's it.
The Pirates are going down.
I agree.
I think
Brewers and Reds, no.
The Marlins, obviously, with the loss of Jose Fernandez, that really hurts them.
Atlanta's still in that rebuild mode.
Right.
Although
So
they've got a bunch of guys my age.
Maybe
pitching.
the Rockies.
Maybe.
I mean,
Arizona, weren't they supposed to be good a couple years ago?
Well, they made one of the worst trades. And
then
ever.
La Russa tried to fire himself, I think, out in Arizona.
I'm done with this.
Right.
So, yeah.
And the Padres are just the Padres.
But it's like, well, one more move. You get in the playoffs, you can win the World Series.
Sure.
We all know that. But if they added one more guy, and I think Encarnacion would be that guy.
All the sense in the world.
Or a cheaper trade target.
Okay.
The problem with the Cardinals is, like Joe's saying, I think they're at the point where they'd rather spend money than spend talent.
Right.
Because there's just not as much talent in their farm system.
Does Mark Trumbo, does he pique your interest if you're the Cardinals? The guy, he mashed like 40-some home runs last year.
He did.
Strikes out an awful lot.
I think he's a slightly better version of Brandon Moss.
Okay.
Right? I mean, home runs, he's 47 last year. He hit 22 the year before.
Got it.
He hit 14 in 88 games in 2014, so that's basically a 24
so really
pace.
last year was just
2013 hit 34, 2012 hit 32.
Okay.
How much better is he than Brandon Moss?
That's a great point.
Now, Edwin Encarnacion
on the other hand,
is hitting 35 to 40 every year.
Mm-hmm. And that's the guy I want.
So
I want Encarnacion.
He's the one guy that would pique my interest. I think the Cardinals would only go 3 years.
And I think he would scare people. In other words, I think if you've got Encarnacion in that lineup hitting fourth every day, that's going to put some fear into other teams. I don't think the Cubs will be scared, but at least that makes the Cardinals a decent team. As for the White Sox,
here, since 2012, just to give you an idea, 42 home runs, 110 RBI, 280 average. 2013, 272 average, 370 on base percentage. Wow. I mean, he's a 350 career on base guy. He's had 354 or above the last 5 years. 36 home runs in 2013, 34 in 2014, 39 in 2015, 42 last year.
Why isn't he signed?
He's 34 years old.
Okay.
And there's just not a high price right now on bats.
Yeah, and you said that yesterday.
I mean, Justin Turner at 4 years, $64 million.
Yeah, that's affordable.
Is kind of, I mean, you compare that to a closer who just got 5 years, $80 million.
That's a great point. It's a reactionary sport. It seems like right now
it feels
that's
like the market
reaction.
inefficiency right now is hitting.
Yes.
So
that's so funny. Well, if you're the Cardinals, I love that move with Encarnacion.
If you can get him 3 for 65.
Oh, that'd in a heartbeat.
I'd do it right now.
Especially after you've got Fowler, Diaz, and Carpenter in front of him. I mean, there's going to be guys on base for him.
I think they're waiting. I think the market's just waiting on one hitter to decide.
Okay.
And it's Trumbo. Jose Bautista is sitting out there, but he's, 37 years old next year.
I want Encarnacion of anybody.
So, yeah, I mean, Encarnacion could still get 4 years. But I think the Blue Jays basically said, $480, you're not taking it? Okay, they moved on. Right. They signed Kendrys Morales. They signed Stephen Pierce. So I think they're kind of out of that market until it gets to a certain price. The Cleveland Indians have kind of come into the market, though they have a price that they can't pay.
Right.
Then you got the Cardinals just sitting there that I think they're waiting to see where this market goes. I think eventually Encarnacion could get 4 for $70, something like that. But does it come down to 3 for $65?
And I get it. Like if you're Mo, you don't want to get old quick. Kind of like Joe Sheehan said, you could get old quick in about 2 years where you're all of a sudden like you look at your team, you're like, wow, what are we right now? But if you want to compete right now and you can put Encarnacion in the middle of that lineup, real quick, we've got about 2 minutes. With the White Sox, with Frazier, I don't want Robertson because we've got Rosie, even if you had to close him or whomever, even Cecil. But between Frazier and Abreu,
would you have interest? Would the Cardinals have interest in Todd Frazier?
I think so because as long as Peralta's part of the deal. Let's just assume
Peralta's got a no trade, right?
Yeah.
That's the hard part because as a White Sox fan, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take Peralta for a year
and throw in
$10 million.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know if you have to pay his money. I'll take it on. I'd rather have some better prospects.
Because we just talked about the White Sox are going to do a bunch of these 1 year, $10 million deals.
I mean, Peralta would fit perfectly with that, but I don't think he'd approve that trade to Chicago.
So all of a sudden now you're either going to have a $10 million guy Peralta off your bench if you go trade for an Abreu and move Cart back to third.
Along with Jerko.
I mean,
you've got $7 million?
Probably the best bench in baseball if you've got Peralta and Jerko coming off the bench. But do you want Frazier at third and Carp at first, or do you want Carp at third and Abreu at first? I don't know. I haven't really entertained Abreu much. It's just mainly been Frazier.
I don't think the Cardinals and White Sox match up.
Okay, I don't either.
Just because I don't think the Cardinals, they got some guys, I've seen some people throwing out there, Sierra, Sosa.
Yeah, that Magnus.
Sandy Alcantara. People have proposed that trade for like Jose Abreu or maybe a couple of those guys for Todd Frazier. There's depth there, but there's not a lot of high end.
No.
I mean, Luke Weaver and Harrison Bader would interest me.
They would.
But I don't know if the Cardinals are ready to give up Weaver. Bader now with Fowler in center for the next couple of years. He's kind of an expendable guy.
I agree.
But is him by himself going to get Todd Frazier?
No.
Or Jose Abreu? No.
I don't think so.
He's a top 100 prospect, but he's not like a given. No. He's a Major League Baseball player eventually, but is he a good one or is he just kind of a fourth outfielder?
That's a good point, and that's what you never know. Hey, we can talk more about baseball in the 5 o'clock hour. We're going to be guesty next hour.
Yeah, it's an exciting hour. Kendall Gill, Comcast Sportsnet Chicago. We'll talk some Bulls coming up next. And then Illinois offensive coordinator Garrick McGee joins us at 4:30.
This is going to be fun. Keep sending in your text, 359-2255. Congrats to James in Champaign. He wins the Cubs. What is it called? It's
DVD Blu-ray combo.
Okay, so congrats to James in Champaign. Well done on that. All right, Kendall Gill when we return. It's the Tay and J Show.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted rentals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
This is Starla Carr with Provident Financial Group. Are you sure you're on track to reach your retirement goals? Wondering how much money you'll need to last your lifetime? Whether you're retiring in a few weeks or a few years, we can analyze your needs and create a plan that's right for you. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Got a question? Talk to our experts now at StevieJay.com. Experts are there, ready to answer your questions for free. Home improvement questions? Our experts from Kramer Siding and Windows can help. Thinking you could use some extra help with landscaping? Think Country Arbors Nursery. Experts are online, waiting to talk to you at StevieJay.com. Talk to Dr. Hsu and our experts from West Main Dental to keep your smile bright. They are the Stevie J Broadcasting experts. Ask an expert today at StevieJay.com. That's StevieJay.com.
Live from the Habib BPC Studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
And Lisa Brady. A fair hearing being promised on Capitol Hill for a controversial nominee, the president-elect picking ExxonMobil CEO Rex Tillerson to be Secretary of State.
Critics argue his close ties to Russia and its president, Vladimir Putin, could pose a conflict of interest. Supporters, though, including former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, say Tillerson is the right man for the job.
Fox's David Lee Miller at Trump Tower, where today's meetings included Microsoft's Bill Gates and Kanye West.
We've been friends for a long time.
Mr. Trump calling the hip-hop star a good man and saying they talked about life. Former Texas governor and two-time presidential candidate Rick Perry said to be the upcoming choice for energy secretary, the same department he famously forgot during a presidential debate while listing which agencies he would scrap. Some energy department workers on edge over the incoming administration.
The transition team with Donald J. Trump have asked them to provide a list of every employee and contractor who has worked at the energy department in recent months and years on climate change issues.
Fox's Ed Henry.
The Washington Post is reporting that climate change scientists are now racing to copy some government data onto private servers in the event of their fear. Maybe it's a conspiracy theory that the Trump administration somehow will make this data disappear.
Though after a recent meeting with Al Gore, Mr. Trump said he's open-minded. Ohio Governor John Kasich has just signed one abortion bill and vetoed another. The approved bill imposes a 20-week ban. The rejected measure would have barred abortions after the first fetal heartbeat, which can be as early as 6 weeks. New records on Wall Street, the Dow up 114, now just 89 points away from 20K. There's a report from USA Today that IBM now plans to hire about 25,000 professionals and invest $1 billion in training over the next 4 years. Fair and balanced.
And now, insurance-minded speeches from GEICO.
Let's talk about power. To illustrate this, allow me to tell you a story about how I moved a tow truck 25 miles using only my index finger. I was stranded with a flat tire. I opened the GEICO app. Then, with a few taps of my finger, I beckoned emergency roadside assistance and a tow truck to my car. I invite you all to unleash the full potential of your fingertips with the GEICO app. Thank you.
ADT presents What to Consider When Considering Home Security. An ADT sign is more than a sign. It's a line in the sand. On one side, your family. On the other, an uncertain world.
For over 140 years, more people have chosen ADT to help prevent crime than anyone else. Get ADT starting at just $28.99 a month.
Tested, trusted, proven ADT.
With 36-month contract for licensing and terms and conditions, visit ADT.com.
A plea to the world not to ignore the carnage in the Syrian city of Aleppo.
The regime of Bashar al-Assad, Russia, Iran, and their affiliated militia are the ones responsible for what the UN called a complete meltdown of humanity.
And U.S. Ambassador to the UN Samantha Power warning, along with allies, including the UK, that the fall of Aleppo won't stop the bloodshed as long as Syria's president remains in power.
He will only hold a third of Syria, and he will be in debt to those foreign powers who would rather help him destroy his country than help this council save it.
The regime and the Russians say the assault on Aleppo is a counter-terrorism operation. There have been reports of house-to-house executions of civilians, including children. With Vice President Joe Biden at his side, President Obama signs the 21st Century Cures Act into law. It invests nearly $2 billion for a cancer research moonshot.
It shows the government at its best, Mr. President. It shows that our politics can still come together to do big, consequential things for the American people.
The vice president's son, Beau, died of brain cancer last year, and one provision in the bill is named after him. All things Harry Potter turn to gold. A handwritten and hand-illustrated volume of stories selling for nearly $500,000 at auction today in London. Those stories were given by J.K. Rowling to the editor who launched her career when she was still a struggling single mom. Her handwritten dedication offers thanks to editor Barry Cunningham, saying, quote, "To the man who thought an overlong novel about a boy wizard in glasses might just sell." And it did sell at that auction today by Sotheby's in London. In New York, I'm Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Need a furnace expert this winter? Call Chief Bauer Service Experts at 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight clear, low of 14. Wednesday mostly sunny, high 27, low of 7. Thursday mostly cloudy, high of 15, a low of 13. Yeah. Right now sun's out 22 in Champaign-Urbana.
All right, Jeremy, so little Torin is how old? 4 months?
4 months.
And you just experienced life around a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
It's exciting, isn't it? It's like you have to pull words out of him.
Yeah, that's how I was.
Lucas
was
in here, and it's like, you want to say hi to Jeremy? Or?
No, he said hey.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
okay.
we gave a fist bump when he came in.
Oh, I didn't even know he was sitting there at first. Yeah. I'm like, hey, it's not Jeremy.
Got a good kid there.
I know.
He's just a typical teenager.
He's passed you up height-wise.
Oh, he did that 2 years ago. He's passed you up, though.
I know he has. Well, he's got the unfair. He's got the Fletch hair up to like 4 feet.
He does have some thick follicles on him.
Oh, my goodness.
Enjoy it now, Lucas.
Thickest hair you can, yeah, right. All right, it's the Tay and J Show. Lante and Jeremy Warner.
Let's get back to the Jupiters Crossing phone line, talk a little Bulls, talk a little Illini with our guy, Kendall Gill, Comcast Sportsnet, Chicago. How you doing, Kendall?
All right, how you guys doing?
Doing well. Well, Tom Thibodeau returns to Chicago tonight, and he's got kind of a struggling T-Wolves team. I thought they'd be a little bit better, but what do you think that atmosphere is going to be like with Thibs back?
Oh, well, I think that Thibs is coming because he really wants to beat the Bulls. Of course, anytime you get fired or released from your former team or traded from your former team, you want to come back and make a statement. Of course, you know, Thibs, like you just said, I'm surprised that they haven't done better this year with all the talent that they have, but it takes time in order to implement your system on a new team, especially when you have young players that need to be taught the system, and I think that's what Thibs is going through right away. But believe me, Minnesota is going to be a team to be reckoned with in the future.
What team did you most want to play against after they cut you or traded you or whatever?
I believe probably the first time I went back to Charlotte after I had signed a free agent contract in Seattle. I wanted to play against those guys, and I went back, and I remember they booed me as soon as I got off the bus.
Wow!
They booed me every time I touched the basketball. They booed me when I came out of the locker room for warm-ups. They did everything. But you know what? I wound up having a great game, and we ended up winning. It was a great day for me. But I've never had 22,000 people boo me whenever I even blinked or sneezed,
And Kendall Gill, one of the nicest people ever. He's probably like, what'd I do? Hey, Kendall,
exactly. That's exactly the way I was.
Right. This is way off topic, but I just thought of this with you. Not with you, but one thing we don't think about. I know the thought of being a professional athlete, we would all love to live that life, whether or not we believe it or not. It would be awesome to do. But when trade rumors come around, and we're hearing that a lot now in baseball and such, obviously the NBA is not to that point yet with trades, but what is that like? Were you ever on the trade market, and what was it like? Because what we don't realize probably is the average person, this is your life. Like, you could be uprooted from Charlotte and be sent out to the West Coast. What is that like? And is that something that really kind of eats at you and stays with you even during games?
Oh yeah. I can give you a prime example. The one time that I was traded and I didn't know that I was going to be traded is when I went back to Charlotte from Seattle. I came back and I was playing great with, I thought Larry Johnson, myself, Alonzo Mourning, and I were going to continue to grow together. And then they traded Alonzo to Miami for Glenn Rice and Matt Geiger and I believe Khalid Reeves. And, Larry Johnson and I were left to play with that team. Well, I was playing well. I was getting triple doubles and, I saw the owner like 3 days before they gave me the news. He said, you know what, Kendall, we're glad you came back. We never should have separated. You're going to be here the rest of your career. 3 days later, they traded me.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was sitting there, and the funny story is I was sitting out on South Beach having a great time. We were about to play the Miami Heat, and my agent calls me and says, hey, Kendall, you've been traded. And at first I thought he was just playing around with me. And then I was like, what? I was like, are you serious? Oh. And then he's like, yeah, I didn't even ask the who. And then after the initial shock, I got over the initial shock. He said, "You've been traded to New Jersey." and then I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, at least I can live in Manhattan."
There you go.
That's right. That's
I love
right.
it. That's a cool story.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I don't drink even to this day, but I had a couple drinks that day.
I bet. I mean, it is a business, but I mean, it is personal as well.
Sure.
You played a little bit for Coach Cal, right? We just brought him up about Jim Harbaugh possibly going back to the NFL, and I was saying, guys like Coach Cal, Harbaugh, Saban, they can be really picky with some of those jobs. But what was Coach Cal like as an NBA coach?
Well, I mean, he's a very good coach. When he came from UMass, he yelled a little bit too much to be a pro coach. Yeah. But, you got to understand, when you're a college coach coming up to the pro rank, you're not dealing with boys. You're dealing with grown men. And you can't, berate them the way that you can college players. And I think that's the one thing that he learned when he was up in the NBA. But as far as X's and O's and being a coach, I mean, he was a great coach. And he showed that at the University of Kentucky.
Yeah. Well, how's this Rondo, Wade, Butler thing working out so far? It's interesting. It's entertaining, I think, a little bit this year. But how do you see this working out right now?
Well, as long as we can not have any arguments with coaches and everything, we'll be okay as far as Rondo is concerned. But, I halfway understand him. He was probably – that game was in Dallas that he got suspended. And, he probably wanted to do well against his former team, a team that had suspended him and actually asked him to go away. And he had just had a triple-double the night before with Cleveland, and he comes back and doesn't play very well and, loses to Dallas. So, I can understand him being upset, but the one thing you have to be able to do as a pro and a professional is be able to keep those feelings in check. Now, that being said, as long as he's able to keep his feelings in check, this is a great trio. I think they've done a great job so far. I think that they have surprised a lot of people. We've had some losses here and there that we shouldn't have lost. But with these three together, when they're on top of their game, they're a very hard team to beat. I mean, they beat Cleveland. They beat the San Antonio Spurs. They just recently came off a 2-week road trip, and I believe they were 4-6, if I'm correct. Easily could have been 6-6. So I really do like the trio. I like the way that Dwayne Wade has come in, and he's the adult in the room.
Yeah.
They brought a couple adults into the room, and you have to fall in line, and that's what the Bulls have done.
There was talk during the offseason of Jimmy Butler possibly going to Boston for the number 3 pick, and the Bulls were going to take Chris Dunn, who plays for the Wolves now. I mean, that probably looks good right now because Jimmy Butler seems like he's taken yet another step.
Right.
I mean, is he getting close to that superstar level, Kendall? Or, how much has his game grown even from last year to this year?
Well, the difference between his game this year and last year is he went to the Olympics, and he played who I call the real boys, like Kevin Durant, Carmelo Anthony, and those guys. And what I think he picked up from them, and I'm just speculating because I wasn't there, but if you see the way that he attacks the basket now and gets to the free throw line, he's discovered the secret way to score. He went from 20 points a game last year, now right around 26 points a game, simply because he goes to the free throw line maybe 7-8 times a game. And that's the reason why his game has elevated. Because if you look at his overall game, nothing else really has changed except for him going to the free throw line. And I think that's one of the things that he has learned, and he's evolved. In order to be a true superstar, I don't know whether he's at that point yet, but in order to be a true superstar, he has to advance in the playoffs, do really well in the playoffs, and then we can say that. Is he a star? Yes. But is he a superstar yet? I don't know whether he's of the Kevin Durant ilk yet.
You can follow Kendall on Twitter. It's at KendallG13. How about the Bulls in general? We're going to ask you a little bit about the NBA in general, but the Bulls going forward, what do they need to do to become a true threat in that East, Kendall?
They need to stay healthy, and they need to keep all their guys together. McDermott just came back, and he's a shot in the arm for them because the bench production was very, very low offensively. I think that he gives Nico Mirotic, who struggles when he's not in the lineup, but he gives Nico Mirotic confidence. I love Cristiano Felicio coming off of the bench. But it's one thing that Fred Hoiberg, I believe, has to do is keep that young man in the lineup coming off of the bench. The other guys, it's all a question about health. If they can stay healthy, I believe they're the second best team in the East. You know, despite the way the Toronto Raptors are playing right now, I believe if the Bulls stay healthy, I mean, starting five and the bench, that they're the second best team in the East. But they need time to prove that.
Sure.
Because the lineup hasn't been together for that long.
All right, the NBA in general. That's interesting. The second best team in the East. The NBA in general, I'm a Sixers fan, Kendall, so I kind of just don't really watch much because they stink and have for the last half part of my life. But, you know, Jeremy was kind of filling me in today. There's not a lot of surprises right now in the NBA. Everything's kind of clicking along except the Knicks. The Knicks are this good all of a sudden? What's happened there?
Yeah, and listen, I knew the Knicks were going to be good. You know, I kept telling everybody, don't shortchange these guys because, you know, listen, Derrick Rose has something to prove. He was traded, okay, and everybody thought that he was done. I absolutely knew he wasn't done. He told me last year, I'm just trying to get through the season healthy, and next year I'll start setting my personal goals again. Now, guys, he's back almost to all-star level so far, playing great basketball. Carmelo Anthony, the window is closing for him, so he knows he has something to get done. Porzingis is going to be a young stud in his second year. And, you know, they have guys, good complimentary guys like Brandon Jennings, Courtney Lee coming off of the bench. So, you know, you can't these guys, I actually really, really like the Knicks. And I hope that is one team that if the Bulls should make the playoffs, we don't see. You know, because they're going to have Joakim Noah and Derrick Rose will have chips on their shoulders and extra incentives to eliminate the Bulls.
That'd be a fun 4 or 5 series.
Say, hold on. For a guy like me, I want to see that.
That could be fun. That could be fun.
Well, for you guys, you may want to see it, but for me, I don't want to see it because I want to keep working.
That's right. That's right. Well, KD and the Warriors are 21-4. Seems like that's going well. Yeah. But on the other side of that, we knew Russell Westbrook was going to put up some huge numbers this year, but he's averaging a triple-double right now with 11 rebounds and 11 assists per game, one of the top scorers in the NBA. Would there be a more impressive single season than averaging a triple-double, Kendall?
No, not at all. A lot of fans don't realize how hard a triple-double is to get. It is hard, okay? You know, I've gotten triple-doubles in my career, but I can tell you I needed an ice bath after. So, and Russell Westbrook does it on a nightly basis. And I know he missed the 8th triple-double, about 4 assists the other night against Boston, but that guy, if you could, you got to give him. You might as well package the MVP trophy now and send it to Oklahoma City. You know, because I don't see anybody else doing what he's done, and the amount of endurance it takes for him to play at that high of a level. You know, he's getting ready to be one of the all-time greats.
Kendall Gill, Comcast Sportsnet Chicago. Let's localize this now, Kendall, and ask you about your former team, the Fighting Illini, 8-3 on the start. They had that horrific week where they lost at home to Winthrop. Then they went out to New York and just got blown out by West Virginia. Played pretty well against Florida State, just couldn't close that game. But then they bounced back with some big wins against NC State, VCU, and so on. I mean, it's kind of one of this. Jeremy and I talked at lengths about this yesterday, Kendall, and I'm not putting words in your mouth. You say what you want. But to us, it feels like a team that's still finding itself despite having a lot of experience, a lot of veterans, and an older team, one of the oldest teams in the NCAA. What do you think so far? I don't know how much you've been able to really kind of follow them thus far, but what are your thoughts on this Illini team?
Well, you're absolutely right. The losses to Winthrop and West Virginia were absolutely painful. You know, and you're right that, you know, they did play well against Florida State but weren't able to close it out. But I totally agree with you. I think they're still trying to find themselves. But, you know, Coach Gross has those guys motivated, you know, and I think that now that they've been able to play above 500 basketball and sort of even go above that at 8-3, they're starting to see the daylight come. And them being an older team, I think is better for them now, you know, because if you're a young team, sometimes you have a tendency sometimes to let off the gas. But these guys know that, you know, that they have an opportunity to put some separation between themselves. They know that they need to make the tournament. We haven't made the tournament in quite a few years now. So they're going to put 100% into this. And then, you know, now we have Tillman coming.
Right.
You know, if Tillman comes, he can open up the pipeline again for top blue chip recruits to come back to Illinois. As long as we can continue to win, and then we get Tillman in there, and then we give Coach Gross a chance to coach him, and then coach some more top-rated recruits, we're going to be put right back on the map. I mean, when I was playing at U of I, you know, we were always in the top 10, you know, always ranked, always recognized by blue chip recruits, and that's where I think that we're headed, you know, but we just have to keep it up.
Awesome. Kendall Gill, make sure you check out, maybe you have, YouTube this Trent Frazier kid, too. That guard from Florida, he's going to be fun to watch for Illinois in the future. Kendall Gill, Comcast Sportsnet, Chicago. Keep up the good work, buddy, and we always appreciate hearing from you.
Okay, guys, you too.
Thanks. Thank you, buddy. That is Kendall Gill. Follow him on Twitter at KendallG13.
I enjoyed that story about him getting traded.
I know.
No, it wasn't enjoyable for him.
No.
That and hearing about Coach Cal as a coach.
That was a great question.
Because a lot of times you hear about those college coaches who kind of go into the NBA and do the same thing.
He started yelling too much.
It's a little different with 18 to 21-year-olds than with these guys making millions and millions of dollars.
That's
right?
so funny. And it is, well, I don't know, it just hit me because I keep thinking about that when these trades, we're talking all about trades in baseball.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, we make these professional athletes robots, essentially, right? Like Chris Sale.
They're just like chess pieces.
Yeah. I mean, Chris Sale, I'm sure you've got a nice condo in Chicago and everything, and your family likes it. I don't even know if he's married, but it's just one of those where, hey, all of a sudden, you know what? Well, get out of here. We're trading you over here. And you think about that.
It's part of the business.
It is. They understand it.
It is personal.
It is.
I mean, we always say it's business. Our businesses are personal.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And then he mentioned Matt Geiger. And it always brings up that one Charlotte visit, and I won't even go into the Kerry Collins, but my brother and I walking out of the bar, and there's this big dance bar, and there's all these people in line, and then there's what is it, Glenn Rice, right?
Yeah.
Glenn Rice, and then some tall, bald dude with earrings out of both ears, and I'm like, that's Matt Geiger.
Dude, those Charlotte teams in the mid-'90s, everyone
my.
had those starter jackets.
Yes.
The teal starter jackets back
Everybody
in the day.
had Charlotte.
Yeah, it was Muggsy Bogues,
Yes.
Del Curry.
Del Curry was
For you
on that.
youngins, that's the father of Steph Curry.
Right.
I mean, he was a heck of a player back
and
then.
Muggsy Bogues was like 5'4".
Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning, Bradley's own Hersey Hawkins,
right.
Scott Burrell.
Yes, from Villanova.
Right. I mean,
that's awesome.
These teams were they were so fun.
They really were.
They were that young up-and-coming team.
Yep.
And then Alonzo leaves.
Yeah, and it just all...
Yeah, and it all kind of goes
funny,
downhill.
though. Matt Geiger. Nice earrings, Geiger! I wanted to say that, but then I didn't want to get pummeled by a 7'2" dude.
Hey, coming up next, we'll talk with Illini offensive coordinator Garrick McGee. How's recruiting going? We'll also ask him about the offense, what it'll look like coming up here in the future.
Can't wait. It is the Tay and J Show.
Hey, guys, I'm going to head over to Rosati's Pizza for lunch. Anybody want anything? Let me know. I'm leaving soon.
Hey, Bob, you want to split a pizza Valentino?
Sure, Jerry.
Hey, Bob, grab some wings and poppers, would you?
Okay, Clara.
2 Italian beefs, 1 barbecue beef, and a half-pound burger loaded for the guys down in shipping.
Sure, guys.
Greek salad, taco salad, and a grilled chicken Caesar salad for the gals up front, Bob.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, Bob, you might want to get it delivered.
Rosati's Pizza. More than just pizza with delivery to Champaign, Urbana, and Savoy. See the menu at myrosatis.com.
Cardinals ticket packs are on sale now and start at just $79. Lots of packs to choose from, including 3 specifically created for out-of-town fans. There's the Friday pack featuring 5 Fridays, including the only Friday night Cubs game in 2017. The Sunday pack, that includes 5 Sunday games and popular giveaways like the Mike Shannon alarm clock, or the Weekend pack, a mix of Saturday and Sunday games throughout the season. Check out these ticket packs and more on sale now at cardinals.com/packs. This holiday season, give the gift that keeps on giving. Give the gift of Cardinals baseball. 2017 all-inclusive tickets are on sale now and feature a full buffet, complimentary beer and soda, plus a great view of the game. Choose from the UMB Champions Club, Bank of America Club, the Coca-Cola Scoreboard Patio, and more. Give the gift of date nights, the gift of memories, the gift of Cardinals baseball. Get your 2017 single-game all-inclusive tickets now at cardinals.com/holiday.
Are you looking to take your fitness to the next level? Hi, I'm Chelsea Roden, personal trainer at the Mettler Center. Whether you've been working out a while or are just getting started, let me create a plan just for you. You can start with a free 30-minute consultation, and I'll help you find the right program to meet your needs, goals, schedule, and budget. Come schedule a free consult today by visiting Mettler Center on the corner of Windsor and Duncan in Champaign, or visit us online at mettlercenter.com.
Are you sick of spending thousands of dollars a year on smoking? Sick of coughing every time you get up in the morning? Well, try Vapors eCigs LLC, offering the best e-cigarette kits, liquids, accessories, and refills. Using an e-cig gives you the freedom to enjoy smoking again without all the guilt and the odor. Stop into Vapors eCigs LLC and find out how they can help you quit smoking. Find Vapors eCigs in 3 convenient locations: 1903 North Neal Street, Champaign, 2 East Main Street in Danville across from the courthouse, and now open at 620 East Champaign Avenue in Rantoul.
Are you looking to take your fitness to the next level? Hi, I'm Chelsea Roden, personal trainer at the Mettler Center. Whether you've been working out a while or are just getting started, let me create a plan just for you. You can start with a free 30-minute consultation, and I'll help you find the right program to meet your needs, goals, schedule, and budget. Come schedule a free consult today by visiting Mettler Center on the corner of Windsor and Duncan in Champaign, or visit us online at mettlercenter.com.
Catch a great deal at Matex Heating and Cooling during Train's Big Game promotion. Buy a qualifying system and scratch off a trade-in allowance up to $2,000, or choose special financing for 5 years now through December 15th. Matex Heating and Cooling is serving your community with over 20 years of quality workmanship. Visit MATTEXservice.com for complete program eligibility, dates, details, and restrictions. Subject to credit approval. Matex Heating and Cooling. It's hard to stop a train.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday mornings 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Rice-A-Roni.
Oh, boy. 427 from the Sports Center Update Studio. I did love Rice-A-Roni.
Yeah. It's a sneaky little treat.
Was more of a beefaroni guy.
Oh yeah.
Of course, yeah. I bet you like the beef flavored ramen noodles too, didn't you?
I used to eat the ramen raw.
Oh wow!
Ever tried that?
Like hard?
Yeah.
Like crunchy?
You ever tried that?
Really?
It was like a nice little snack.
My kids do that.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Sounds awful.
I was a weird kid. So
I mean, Rice-A-Roni and ramen got me through a lot of college days.
Amen.
You're out of meals and you don't have any money. All right, back to the update. This Sports Center Update brought to you by the Mettler Center. If you're looking to take your fitness to the next level, set up a free 30-minute consultation by visiting mettlercenter.com. Illinois football offered Peoria High School quarterback Corin Taylor. Taylor helped lead the school to the 5A state championship. NFL Patriots beat the Ravens 30-23. Tom Brady threw just his second interception of the year in the victory. LeGarrette Blount made sure that I made it to the next round of the playoffs in both of my fantasy leagues. Bulls welcome Tom Thibodeau to the United Center as they play the Timberwolves. The Bulls are 13-10. Timberwolves 6 wins on the entire season. The Nationals swung and missed at a lot of closers, and they're currently reportedly linked to the White Sox in some preliminary talks for David Robertson. Cubs have Greg Holland, Koji Uehara to shore up their pen. John Heyman reported earlier that the Pirates were offered a nice haul of prospects from a mystery team. They rejected that offer, apparently, want more MLB talent. Blackhawks in New York. Jonathan Taves coming off IR to play against the Rangers tonight. Blues are in Nashville looking to make up some points there. 4 points short of the Blackhawks are first in the Central. I'm James Wood with your 4:30 Sports Center Update.
Oops, a double Bruno day. Blues just trying to make the Blackhawks feel good. I didn't even know Taves has been out that long. Corey Crawford's out. They're just humming along. That's what they do. Hey, make 2017 your year to improve your financial fitness. Busey promises the support and answers you need to give your budget and wallet a workout. Did you know research reveals people who resolve to improve their money behavior at the start of the year get ahead faster than those who don't? It's spend less, save more. And to avoid over-consuming in the new year, Busey suggests a few things. Set smart goals, take advantage of tools around you like automatic deposit and online budgets, and make a master plan with college planning, retirement planning, wealth transfer, bunch of that stuff. Don't just resolve to get physically fit in the new year. Give your budget and wallet a workout as well. For expert advice and solutions, visit Busey.com. Call 1-800-67-BUSEY or stop by one of their many convenient locations today.
I'm Jeremy Warner. He's Juan Tay. We are the Tay and J Show. We've had a busy last hour. Joe Sheehan Newsletter, talk some baseball, hot stove. We had Kendall Gill, Comcast Sportsnet Chicago, talk a little Bulls. But let's head back to the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line.
I love talking to Kendall. And now we turn it over to some football and visit with Illinois offensive coordinator Garrick McGee. Coach, welcome back.
Well, thank you, man. I can't believe I'm on right after Kendall Gill. I wish I could have got on and listened to him talk, man. That's one of my favorite guys.
That guy, I mean, he's just one of the best Illini and is so beloved, Coach, still. For what he does in this area and for what he was, he will always go down as one of the favorite Illini ever.
Yeah, and for my age, guys, he was one of those top athletes that came out, really high profile, with the big giant flat top on top of his head.
Yes.
Slam dunking from all over the floor. So he's a guy that I watched a lot.
The big giant flat top. I love it.
Right.
Garrick, did you have the Hornets starter jacket? We were just talking about that.
I did. I sure did.
Everybody
That's
did.
right.
Everybody.
He made those popular. That's right.
Yeah. No doubt.
Everybody had those back in the day. He's Garrick McGee, Illinois offense coordinator. Well, you're back home after 2 crazy weeks on the recruiting trail, Garrick. What's a normal day like on the trail for you?
Well, this was 2 wild weeks because, after the game, up there in Evanston, me and my family, we stayed because I was flying out of Chicago the next day. And then I took off, and I think we went to Miami to start, and we were there for 2 days. And, of course, you're up early. You're into the schools, getting around the counselors and the principal and the coaches. And then during the contact period, you're in homes at night. So the days start really early, and they end up in multiple homes eating multiple meals every night because you always got to eat the meals. And, we've been fortunate to get in some homes that, the parents really cook great meals. So it's been pretty good. Then we were back, for one day on Sunday, then we went out again for another week. So it's been kind of wild the last 2 weeks, but it's worth it. It's kind of what you sign up for when you decide to coach football on this level. Your families have to be in on it. Your wife has to completely take over because you got to go find some players and, not only find them, but sign them.
Yeah. Garrick, I talked to you a couple of weeks ago before you guys hit the trail, and you said to me, Lovie Smith is a bona fide closer. Can you tell me, you guys got to feel good just to get out on the trail, and especially to have your head coach, who I was talking about yesterday, is the biggest celebrity coach Illinois athletics has ever had.
No doubt.
In any sport. So what's it mean to get him out on the trail and in these homes?
Well, it's really cool for a couple of reasons. The one of the reasons is he recruited me. Yeah. So I am a victim of him coming into my home, explaining to me and my parents that he was going to take care of me. I guess I shouldn't have said victim, but he definitely talked me into, this is where you should go to school. This is the best place for you. This is about relationships. And I've told a story a lot of times that, believe it or not, way back in the day, I had some choices of which college I can go to. And my dad said to me, you're going to school wherever Lovie is. That's the guy I trust. And a lot of kids nowadays, the parents are saying it's his decision, it's the kid's decision. But my dad, saw it a little bit different because he was thinking that, I've raised you this far, and you are going to get to, look at everything. But when it's decision time, I'm going to be in on the decision because I know what's best for you, and I know you. And I really, we had that type of relationship. And my dad said that, I see this bigger than the next 4 years of your football career.
Interesting.
And I think you'll develop a relationship with Lovie that you will ultimately end up in his tree, and he's going to keep moving, and he's going to move forward, and you want to be a coach. I think you need to go to school where Lovie is. That's who I trust. And it all worked out. So, of course, I get to tell that story in homes when I'm talking to parents about what it's going to be like or a decision that you can make to come and play for Coach Smith. You're making a lifelong decision that I'm an example of. You're going to be a part of his life for the rest of your life. And that's what relationships are supposed to be about. That's what recruiting is supposed to be about. And I am a walking example of that. And then after I tell that story, then the following week he walks into the home himself. And now the parents another thing about Coach is that he's like you said, he is a celebrity coach, but he's so humble about, his demeanor, the way he carries himself. He just really sees himself as a regular guy, and that comes off to the recruits and their parents as, even though this guy is as big as it gets in this business, he's just a regular guy. And that's what I think the advantage is that we have when we take Coach Smith into a home recruiting.
What a cool story. What a great, especially, Coach, I've got a teenager now who probably thinks I don't know anything. And how about your dad? Already he's predicting the future, and he nailed it just immediately. That's a really cool story. Garrick McGee is our guest, Illinois offensive coordinator. What about you in this offense this year? What is the most important thing for you guys to add to this offense in this class of 2017?
Just speed, competitive spirit. It's something that's we're going to add a lot of guys that won championships in their high school. That they understand what champions do. They understand that you got to be consistent. You got to practice every day, and you got to show up and compete and perform every weekend. That's the only way to win a championship, regardless of what level you're on. So a lot of these guys that we will ultimately end up talking about on signing date, they're going to be guys that won a lot of games in high school, and if they didn't, then they're extreme talented players. They're kids that bring what I call an exceptional talent to the table. It could be size, it could be foot speed, it could be just competitive spirit, but they need to bring what I call an exceptional talent to the table. And we spend a lot of time talking to their coaches about their practice habits. Because we cannot afford to miss on kids right now.
Mm-hmm.
We got to be right. So it takes a little bit longer. You don't just throw firing offers out all over the world. You really need to get to know what you're getting into, because we got to get the right type of kids. So I'm really happy with where we are. I'll really be glad when this is over in February, so we can start talking about these kids and we can start sending them information about the offense and get them developed and moving in the right direction. But this is the process that recruiting is. You got to go through this dead period, and then you get back on the road in January and try to close this thing out.
I feel like, Garrick, we saw a glimpse of what your offense was going to be when Chase Crouch was in the game. A more athletic, mobile quarterback, and he's a heck of a tough runner that I've compared to a kid I covered up at NIU, Jordan Lynch. He kind of has that same demeanor. He's obviously going to be out for a while, not back till the fall, but you had some huge challenges with this offense. You don't have the personnel. It's going to take a couple years to get there. But as you look back at Chase and what you saw from him in this offense, what were your biggest challenges and takeaways?
Well, I really thought that the kid was prepared from where he was in spring ball when we got here. I in the summertime and in training camp, when I sit down with all of them, and I said, these are the target points. These are the things that we really have to concentrate on. For some kids, it's we got to work on your drops or your delivery of the football or your understanding of the game. Well, with Chase's, it was we have to settle him down because he had a tendency to be wild with the football. And once he actually got out there, I think it was Purdue game and got to play, he was under control. And he showed me that he had developed, and the things that we have been talking about was really coming to life. He was efficient with the football, except for the last, the fumble at the end, but it's not like he was reckless with the ball. The ball just got knocked out at the wrong time. So I think the sky's the limit for Chase. We all trust Chase. We really like him and what he brings to the table. And it's not necessarily, I get tagged. It's probably because of Lamar and Reggie Bonifant that I get tagged that I'm looking for a running quarterback. I'm just looking for a competitor, an extreme competitor, a guy that's going to lay it on the line for this program week in and week out. That's the characteristic that I look for the most. It's not necessarily can he run or does he throw. My dad used to tell me all the time. I would ask him who's his favorite basketball player of all time. My dad would say Magic Johnson. And I would go, he can't shoot, or he can run and pass, but he can't shoot. And he would go, yeah, but when he's on the floor, everybody else plays better.
Amen.
That's the guy I want, and that's what I'm looking for at quarterback. And that's the skill set that you need at quarterback.
So who's going to be available for you at quarterback in the spring? Because I think you're going to have 3 guys come in the fall. But I mean, so is it Jeff George show in the spring? And how do you kind of prepare your offense around that?
It's going to be fun. We're going to get a lot of fundamentals. There's going to be a lot of guys get better because there's not going to be many guys out there. So some guys are going to take a lot of reps. But that's the way it works. We don't have a game in the spring. So we don't have to worry about winning or losing the game. We can just concentrate on development. We also, a lot has been said about, us getting the job late. Most times the transition doesn't happen that late. We got 1 week to be with our players before they went on spring break, and then we got 1 week, and then we started. But in reality, the coaching staff needs an off season to go back through and really spend time installing the offense and all the techniques and all the language because it happened fast for us also. So there's a lot of growth that's going to happen in ball, in regards to our offense, not just with the athletes on the field, but our coaching staff is going to grow a lot, in the spring ball.
That's interesting. It's something that I don't think the average fan thinks about, stuff like that. Garrick McGee, Illinois offensive coordinator. You mentioned Lamar Jackson earlier, and it kind of pigeonholed you thought into that. But how about Lamar Jackson and the year that kid had? It seemed like every time I turn a game on at half, he had 8 touchdowns. He wins the Heisman Trophy. How proud were you to see that?
I was very proud to see him standing on the stage, looking like the Heisman Trophy winner, looking like a celebrity. Because, of course, I remember going into his school and, the first time I went in there and started talking with him, I said, all right, show me what a 5-step drop is. And he would do it. And, I said, all right, you need to carry the ball a little higher. Or, I would talk to him on the phone the night after his game, and I would go, what happened in the game? He would say, I scored 8 touchdowns. And I would go, no way you scored 8 touchdowns. He'd go, yeah, I ran 5 and I threw 3. I really did, But then he got to campus, and then the first day that we had off-season workout, we have these, the rules allow you to have what's called football-related activities in the summer. First day he walked out there, everybody knew he was special, that he had a skill set, he can run and make moves, and he had vision that some of us have never seen before. So then it was about teaching him the offense and figuring out what he can learn to give him a chance to get out there. And, there was times when I put flashcards together for him when he first got there. And, for some kids, they would go, no, don't make me flashcards and treat me like I'm a first grader. But he went, yeah, I do want anything we can possibly do.
Wow.
Let's do it. And he studied them. And, I was fortunate at that time I had a room full of quarterbacks. I think I had Will Gardner, Reggie Bonifant, Kyle Bolin, Tyler Ferguson, and Lamar in the same room. And Lamar was the youngest one. And I'll never forget, we were all sitting in the room watching film one day, and all of those guys had started in games before. And here's this young 17-year-old kid, and we all start looking at each other like, this guy might be special. Just the way he's trying to learn what he can do on the field, the type of teammate that he is. He is not some, hot shot high school quarterback that's arrogant. He's not that at all. He's a great teammate. And I always give those kids a lot of credit with Lamar. That, Will Gardner, him and Reggie Bonifant to this day are like brothers. And if you remember, Reggie was the starting quarterback as a true freshman when we went up there and beat Notre Dame. And then here comes Lamar, and we started the season with Reggie at quarterback. And then Lamar eventually takes over, and him and Reggie become almost like twin brothers. That's the type of teammate that the kid was. So I'm really happy for him. I am not at all surprised by him dominating college football. His mother is not surprised at all that he's dominating because he's always been like that. If you ask her, she'll say he always scores 5 or 6 touchdowns.
Right.
But it's always good to see a kid that you have a personal relationship with end up winning, the top trophy, in college football. It's pretty cool to see him up on stage and, with that red blazer on, which I love, by the way.
Yeah, that's cool.
Slick.
Yeah, that's
pretty
cool.
slick. I sent him a text saying, "You're trying to catch up with me with your suit."
That's nice.
Garrick, I want to ask you about one more guy before we let you go, and that's Wes Lunt, who when you're a Big Ten quarterback, you're under the microscope. That's what you sign up for. Didn't have the best pieces around him, but obviously didn't have the career that he wanted here, but he's going to get at least a shot to impress some NFL people in some workouts. What is the next step for Wes Lunt? And I've been around him for a while. I think he's one of the more analytical guys. He really knows his football. But as a player, what's he need to do to take the next step as a player?
Well, I think he just needs a chance now, and he's going to get it. I think I was told he was going to get to play in some All-Star game.
Yep.
So they're going to get to see him at practice, whip the ball all around the field. And he can throw it as well as anybody can throw it. Then he'll have his pro day, and he's going to get in somebody's training camp because he'll have an understanding of the pro game. He'll know fronts. He'll know coverages. He'll understand how 7-man protection works and 6-man protections work and 5-man protections work, which is something that a lot of kids that go to the pros, they don't really understand. And that's what sets some guys back because they don't understand base defensive structure. Whereas Wes will understand that. So he's going to have an advantage over a lot of quarterbacks that are going to be entering the NFL this offseason. But then once you get that shot, you got to go for it. There's some people can say it didn't work out, his career didn't work out like he wanted. But then there's other people who say his best football may be ahead of him. So you just, I think you just got to stay positive with the kid. He's got to continue to grow. He's got to continue to study. When you're a quarterback headed to the NFL, your workouts are important. And you got to drop. And you got to make throws. But you're also going to have to get on the board eventually and explain to some general manager or offensive coordinator or quarterback coach that you understand football. So he needs to continue with that type of development, mental development also, so that he can get on the board and impress, people with his knowledge of the game.
Garrick McGee, great stuff, man. I want to know, did your dad at one point mention that you would be interviewed by a radio guy that the next day would win the Powerball? I mean, by any chance did he predict that in the future?
No, he did not. Well, hope if it happens now, I'm in on it too. Right?
Yeah, you're in, Coach. Right. That would be awesome. Hey, great stories, wonderful stuff. I look forward to you and this entire staff getting out, working obviously with the recruiting for next season. Illinois offensive coordinator Garrick McGee. Thank you so much, Coach.
All right, fellas. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks, buddy. We appreciate that. We had a text come in during the interview. Yeah. It says, Garrick McGee, such a great interview. As a fan, he gives me confidence.
He's going to be a head coach again somewhere.
Absolutely.
He's a UAB coach, and then got fired after 2 years, and then went up to Bobby Petrino. I think that's part of what he wanted.
Okay.
I mean, obviously he trusts Lovie. That's why he's here.
Yep.
But this is his offense. It was never going to be with Bobby Petrino. Even though that program's doing awesome, he recruited Lamar. I'm sure he would have loved to have coached him this year. But this gets to be his thing. He gets to build it with Lovie, a guy he obviously trusts. But he's a very impressive coach and an impressive guy. And I don't judge him at all by this year.
No.
Because he had nothing that he wanted, and then a bunch of his pieces got hurt.
Yep.
So it's hard to judge him. It's going to take some time to build it up. But based on what they've recruited so far, it's mostly offense, and it's exciting offense.
Right.
So the defense is actually where they need to recruit better, but offensively, they've gotten some playmakers coming in.
Did it surprise you with what he said about, I don't necessarily look for a quarterback that runs. I want a guy that is going to go out and lead this team?
That's probably correct. but every guy he's offering is an athletic runner.
No, and I get that.
I get as a coach. That's what he's going to say.
Exactly.
But he wants somebody who can move. He wants somebody who can be a playmaker.
That's neat.
But at the same time, that's why Corin Taylor makes a ton of sense.
Amen.
That guy's a winner.
Okay.
That guy just makes winning plays. He's got an it factor, and I'm sure that's a big reason they offered him today.
That was great. Good stuff with Garrick McGee. I loved his story, and I love the fact that he's super proud still of Lamar Jackson and what has happened. I mean, these kids build a relationship with, or these coaches, build relationships with kids, and it doesn't matter if they move on or the kid moves on. You've still built the relationship, and you want nothing for the best. And for Garrick McGee to say that about Lamar Jackson, I thought that was really cool.
We're having for a break. It was good stuff there. Coming up next hour, we got Drive Time and Taste. Send in those questions at Jay Warner Scout.
Good stuff with Garrick. It is the Tay and J Show.
Nobody plays more country music per hour than US 105.9, where they start every workday with 3 hours of continuous country. US 105.9 is a proud sister station to ESPN Radio 93.5.
Buffalo Wild Wings is always on the lookout for the next greatest sauce, and just in time for football, they found another one. Introducing Music City Fire, a new take on Nashville hot sauce. It's a spicy blend of cayenne, paprika, garlic, and more. Made for wings and made to be eaten while watching football. And of course, don't forget about B-Dub's online ordering. It's simple. Order online and pick up at your nearest location. It's delicious. They've got everything from shareables to their famous wings. So don't settle for the same old thing. Go to BuffaloWildWings.com today. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings. Beer. Sports.
Sean Hallett, Deputy Sheriff, currently assists Judge Jeff Ford with the Champaign County Drug Court Program, as well as helping citizens living in Sheriff's Office jurisdiction with neighborhood watch programs. Why do you do your work, and why do you like it?
Well, I think most people in law enforcement go into this field because they want to help people. And as you start your career, you're always going full throttle trying to get out there and do the best you can. I've been there for almost 13 years now. So I found a different role, and it's not on the streets, but it's actually helping the citizens that are currently involved in the Champaign County Drug Court Program, and then also for the Neighborhood Watch to go out and represent the Sheriff's Office and speak to the residents of those neighborhoods and try to help them with some of their concerns that they bring to.
And congratulations on this massive honor, which comes with absolutely nothing except appreciation. I have no parting gifts. Deputy Sean Hallett.
Thank you very much.
It's Law Enforcement Official of the Month, brought to you by Hickory River Smokehouse. There's nothing better at 1706 North Cunningham in Urbana.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
The last time we elected a president, only 57.5% of registered voters showed up. It's hard to get everyone to do anything. So when 93% of us all do something, well, that's something. Every week, 93% of Americans listen to the radio, and they're all voting with their wallets every time they make a purchase. If you run a business, let a radio campaign tell your story. See how at StevieJay.com. That's StevieJay.com, or by calling 367-1195.
There's no place like home for the holidays. Make Clark Lindsay your new home in one of our newly renovated move-in ready apartments or our spacious, luxurious villas at Meadows Edge. Both are ideal for mature adults who want to spend more time focusing on life's pleasures. Become a member of Clark Lindsay by the end of the month and you'll pay 2016's life membership fee even if you move in next year. Give us a call for a tour or visit clarklindsay.com for more information. Clark Lindsay, your life, your plan, your community.
I'm Steve.
I'm Tom.
You know what? We eat at Mary Ann's.
Not every day.
Lots of days.
Quite often.
Good food.
Affordable prices.
Good people.
Very good people. So, Steve, I heard you're a big tipper, and that's why they like to have you come into Mary Ann's. Is that true?
Actually, I think you're the plastic guy. I'm the cash guy.
I like to think that every time I have a 2 + 2 + 2 and I charge it, I'm racking up frequent flyer miles.
I think they appreciate my cash.
They probably do. So, can you do that math?
2 + 2 + 2?
Yeah, what does it mean?
Well, that's 2 pancakes, 2 eggs any style, 2 sausage links.
What if I want toast?
You get that instead of pancakes.
Can I get sausage patties?
You can have sausage patties. I like to vary my 2 plus 2 plus 2.
Yeah, well, you're kind of an exciting guy. I'm kind of a boring guy, just trying to make it through.
You know Marianne's coffee? It's the best in town.
You can't beat it.
Well, when I'm there with you, I need Marianne's coffee.
That's just to keep up.
I'm Steve.
I'm Tom. We always eat at Marianne.
We eat at Marianne's.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
All right, I got a story.
Yeah. What you got?
There's a new hashtag going around.
Oh, yeah?
Twitter. It's really good.
What is it?
Hashtag WikiLeaks.
WikiLeaks? Is this after David Backus and Brent Seabrook?
No.
Wiki
Backus. All right, this story from the SBNation.com. On November 12th, the Wake Forest football team lost at Louisville, Lamar Jackson, 44-12. Demon Deacons had a second-half lead, but things fell apart down the stretch, and the Cardinals blew them out. After the game, Wake Forest coach Dave Clawson felt something was amiss. That Louisville, perhaps, had gotten its hands on some of the Deeks' game plan documents. Clawson said he was, quote, concerned that there was some type of security breach, unquote, and Wake started up an investigation. Louisville coach Bobby Petrino said he had no knowledge of the situation, and the story quieted down. Now, the Deeks are convinced they've got a mole.
Uh-oh.
Their investigation found that Tommy Elrod, a former Deeks assistant under Jim Grobe, who's been a team radio color commenter since 2014, snitched or attempted to leak Wake Forest game documents over a period of years to opponents other than Louisville.
You're kidding me.
The athletics department says Elrod provided or attempted to provide confidential and proprietary game preparations on multiple occasions starting in 2014. So the accusations by Wake stretch well before November. Wake's press release on the matter says Elrod is out as a radio commentator and banned from the team's facilities. Elrod is a Wake Forest alum. He played for the Deeks from 93 to 97, served in various positions on Wake staff for 11 seasons. But when Clawson took over the program in 2014, Elrod wasn't part of his staff, but he started broadcasting games.
Well, that is interesting, except, here's the only thing. It says he did that to everybody but Louisville, but now it's the Louisville game that is bringing this out. That's interesting.
So he had access to everything around the team,
okay,
and he's leaking it to other people. Apparently, some people are speculating that because he didn't get a staff position, that he's just doing this.
Okay, this is why John Gross doesn't let you, Jeremy Werner, into practice.
Nobody allows anybody into practice. You're not helping us, Tommy Elrod.
That is hilarious. A radio
We're
commentator.
never going to see a Lovie Smith practice again after this.
Great. WikiLeaks.
Hashtag WikiLeaks.
Unbelievable.
Martin O'Donnell, check him. Check Martin O'Donnell right now.
I love it.
We'll have to ask Deion Thomas on Friday.
Right. That is a great story. That's awesome.
Hey, coming up next, we got Drive Time. Also need more Tay's Take questions.
Okay, let's go.
Text those in at 217-359-2255 or tweet me at JWarnerScout.
Hey, no guests in the 5 o'clock hour, so get your calls in, get your texts in. 359-2255, Tay and J Show.
You already know Houlihan's Restaurant and Bar at the iHotel is a great restaurant, but don't forget about the bar. Fantastic drink specials and mouth-watering menu items from snacks to full meals, a nice selection of draft, craft, and domestic beers, and just about any cocktail you can imagine. Watch a game with multiple flat screens on all sides of the bar, or grab some tables and make it a party. Drink specials daily, plus Houlihan's is now serving a delicious hot breakfast 7 days a week. Houlihan's at the iHotel. Check them out at the corner of 1st Street and St. Mary's Road, just south of the State Farm Center.
John 3:16 states, "For this is how God loved the world. He gave his one and only Son, so that everyone who believes in him will not perish, but have eternal life." If your life has no direction or purpose, if you serve no one but yourself, and if you want to change the direction and outcome of your life, visit a local church this Sunday. Most churches have free Bibles. Ask for one. Start reading and learning about Jesus, his life, and how he wants you to live your life. Make an eternal decision today to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. This message brought to you by the Blossom Basket Florist.
You buy Community Credit Union for campus and community.
When it comes to
serving this community, nobody has more spirit than we do. At the U of I Community Credit Union, we're with you through every step of life, from your first car to your first home. As financial coaches, we're knowledgeable and professional, and we cheer the loudest when you reach your financial goals. And right now, for a limited time only, the U of I Community Credit Union is giving you a $400 closing cost credit through December 31st. Take advantage of great interest rates and save before you even get the keys to your new home.
Closing cost credit offer applies to approved and funded first mortgage loans only. Limited time offer. Some restrictions apply. Visit uoficreditunion.org for details.
Live, work, or study in Champaign County? Bank with the U of I Community Credit Union.
Got a question? Talk to our experts now at StevieJay.com. Experts are there, ready to answer your questions for free. Home improvement question. Our experts from Land, Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing can help. Need help with home remodeling? Talk to our service experts from Flooring Services, where the world is at your feet. Need to pay for those home improvements? Talk to our financial experts from the U of I Community Credit Union. They are the Stevie J Broadcasting experts. Ask an expert today at StevieJay.com. That's StevieJay.com.
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Families are ready for the support. President Obama signing the 21st Century Cures Act, which provides more money for cancer research and preventing drug abuse.
We are bringing to reality the possibility of new breakthroughs to some of the greatest health challenges of our time.
The new law also streamlines the approval process for new drugs and medical devices. 2 Texans may get high positions in Donald Trump's administration.
Mr. Trump has chosen Exxon CEO Rex Tillerson for Secretary of State. Critics argue his close ties to Russia and its president, Vladimir Putin, could pose a conflict of interest. Supporters, though, including former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, say Tillerson is the right man for the job. Fox News has learned Mr. Trump is planning to nominate former Texas Governor Rick Perry as Energy Secretary. During Perry's failed presidential campaign, he called on dismantling the Energy Department, the same department Mr. Trump would like him to leave.
Fox's David Lee Miller. The United Nations is demanding immediate access to Aleppo, which Syria's UN ambassador says has been liberated from rebels. There are concerns about acts of revenge and terror against civilians.
The Assad regime and Russia, backed by Iran, using militia on the ground, have done everything they can to cut off the city.
U.S. Ambassador Samantha Power, the U.S., Britain, and France all claim there have been atrocities in Aleppo. The rally keeps going on Wall Street.
Stocks continue their record run today with all 3 benchmark averages closing at lifetime highs, with the Dow coming within 100 points of the key 20,000 mark.
Fox Business Network's Lori Rothman. The Dow climbed 114 points. S&P gained 14. NASDAQ up 51. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Hey, everyone.
This is Life Tips with Geico.
Life Tip 1. You can use a razor to shave those little lint balls off your sweatshirt or jacket.
Speaking of jackets, try wearing yours backwards. You could use the hood as a convenient snack trough.
Life Tip 2. Switch to Geico and you could save hundreds on your car insurance. On top of that, the Geico Insurance Agency could help save you money on home and renter's insurance. Geico. Get savings into your life. Visit geico.com today.
ADT presents What to Consider When Considering Home Security. An ADT sign is more than a sign. It's a line in the sand. On one side, your family. On the other, an uncertain world.
For over 140 years, more people have chosen ADT to help prevent crime than anyone else. Get ADT starting at just $28.99 a month.
Tested, trusted, proven ADT.
With 36-month contract for licensing and terms and conditions, visit ADT.com.
Investigation continues into that deadly warehouse fire in Oakland, California. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has the latest live.
And Kathleen, the ATF says the electrical system of the warehouse is still a part of their analysis, but they have not yet figured out the cause of this fire. They do say it was not arson. The fire chief of Oakland, Teresa Deloach-Reed, says they have no records of this warehouse ever having been inspected. She says it didn't qualify as a state-mandated facility to inspect and would only qualify under a local commercial inspection program.
And we do not inspect
vacant buildings. We only inspect active businesses.
And so they would only qualify if there had been a complaint the fire department could respond to, or if the owner requested a permit to change occupancy or for an event. Now, complaints were made to other city departments about this warehouse, including the Building and Planning Department, Kathleen.
Thanks, Jessica. Governor John Kasich has signed into law a 20-week abortion ban, but he vetoed stricter legislation that would have banned abortion at the point a fetal heartbeat could be detected as early as 6 weeks after conception. In Oklahoma, signs up in restaurants to discourage abortion.
Oklahoma's State Board of Health will consider regulations for new signs inside public restrooms, in hospitals, nursing homes, restaurants, and public schools that direct pregnant women where to receive services as part of an effort to reduce abortions. The provision, which passed this year, requires the state to develop informational material for the purpose of achieving an abortion-free society. The signs must be posted by January of 2018, though groups representing hospitals and restaurants complain that the new requirements could cost millions of dollars and are too expensive. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Wonder Woman no longer honorary ambassador to the UN because of complaints that she wasn't the best role model for girls. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio.
Oh, she kicked some butt, though.
She had a invisible plane.
And a lasso of truth.
Did you just, look up in the sky and you just saw a girl flying?
No.
You didn't see the plane; it was invisible.
Right.
It's like
just Wonder Woman sitting
there, not even flying like you would Superman.
Or just the plain properties of invisibility make her invisible.
Maybe, probably,
if she's touching it.
Probably, I'm going to go with
These
that.
Are the physics of superheroes that we want to know.
I want to know, and nobody asked me about. I think Wonder Woman's cool.
Linda Carter, man, those eyes.
Yeah.
Hey, here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast. Sidetrack.
She's like 100 now.
Still probably looks good.
She probably has good eyes.
Brought to you by Chief Bauer. Need a furnace expert this winter? Call Chief Bauer Service Experts at 866-EXPERTS or visit chiefbauer.com. Tonight, clear, low of 14. Wednesday, mostly sunny, high 27, low of 8. Thursday, high 15, low of 14. Right now, clear, 18 degrees in Champaign-Urbana.
Professional.
Feels like 8. Sorry, I'm Googling Linda Carter.
Nice.
It's drive time presented by Honda BMW of Champaign. For new and used vehicles, visit Honda BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy, or visit them online at drivechampaign.com. Wante, this will recap the first 2 hours of the Tay and J Show. And it's weird because now we got to talk. You and me actually have to talk.
Right.
We filled 24 minutes on this show.
Because what did we even talk about? I don't even remember what we talked about.
You talked about winter.
I did. I hate winter. Done. Jim Harbaugh, I said he's not going back to the NFL. Now, you corrected me with regards to eventually, and I agree with that. I think eventually Jim Harbaugh will go back to the NFL. I could be dead wrong. No, I'm not going to be dead wrong. Jim Harbaugh's not leaving Michigan right now. He's got too much to prove right now with the Wolverines.
Everybody asked me, what percentage chance will this Illinois guy commit? So percentage chance Jim Harbaugh leaves Michigan right now for the LA Rams.
5%. And
That's
the 5%
right.
means that he's going to listen to them, and he will think about it for 2 minutes. And then he'll realize that he's putting together a studly thing at Michigan, and he still wants to beat Urban Meyer.
What if they offer him $20 million?
Then
per year,
99.9% he's gone.
Yes.
He's gone to the Rams.
I mean, that's what I would do.
Right.
If you want Jim Harbaugh, go get him. I mean, he's more valuable than any player.
Yeah.
You're going to have on that team most likely. I mean, I love Aaron Donald. I wish the Bears had him. Jared Goff could be really good, but for Jared Goff to be good, he needs an offensive coach.
Yes, he does.
And Jim Harbaugh is as good as it is when it comes to coaching quarterback. So, I mean, he kind of resurrected Alex Smith's career.
That's a great point.
He had a great start with Colin Kaepernick, and since he left, Colin Kaepernick hasn't been as good.
No, he hasn't.
Right? So
that's a great point.
Andrew Luck, obviously, he recruited and coached him up. So,
and even Michigan's quarterback this year, Spates, I wasn't that crazy about him, but
Jake Rudock last year.
Right, exactly.
He got him an NFL job.
That's a great point. So it'd be interesting to see Harbaugh do that. I think I would rather see Harbaugh coach about another 2 years, let John Fox coach another 2, and then have Harbaugh take over the coach of the Chicago Bears.
With Mitch Trubisky as his quarterback?
There you go. No, the kid right now for Penn State. Oh, that's who it is, Trubisky.
He's at North Carolina.
Oh, no, that's Carolina
McSorley?
kid. McSorley is who I'm thinking of. The Penn State
Well, they're going to
quarterback.
draft a quarterback this year.
I like that Trubisky kid.
Yeah, I think eventually he'll go back to the NFL.
I agree.
Because that's those jobs, and you don't have to recruit. You don't have to, kind of finagle with all these boosters and stuff. Not that Harbaugh probably has to do much of that
Well,
right now.
he loves it.
Right.
Hell, he's spending the night with 17-year-old kids. I'm like, whoa, that sounds really weird.
That is true.
But it happened.
And Harbaugh does that.
And it was a kicker, I think, or a punter.
And he drinks milk with steak. So.
Wow.
No, I think it's pretty much a non-story right now, but I do think he eventually goes back to the NFL. But he's got to squash this because Urban will kill him in recruiting.
That's a great one.
We also talked about Illinois offering Peoria quarterback Corin Taylor.
I like it.
2018 kid, so not this recruiting class, but next recruiting class. But anybody who saw Peoria knows this kid is a prime-time player. Illinois is his first offer. I love that.
Okay.
I love that the in-state school jumps on that offer right away. I think this kid not only fits everything Garrick McGee wants, athletic quarterback, got a good arm, makes plays everywhere. I think he's an advanced passer compared to even Quincy Patterson, who they've offered that year as well. But he's got an it factor.
Yeah.
He's definitely got an it factor.
I want to ask you, how difficult is it with regards to in-state prospects? And do you almost take a little bit of a chance and offer them earlier than maybe you would if this kid was from, let's say, Missouri or Indiana? And what I mean by this is you've got the kid from Peoria that you offered, this quarterback, and then you had the kid from
Kendrick Green, who they waited off.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've got two kids that kind of waited, but it sounds like both of them really wanted that Illinois offer.
I think for this class, they've done a pretty good job of identifying the state is their priority, and that includes St. Louis.
Yeah,
they will say Indianapolis and stuff, but if there's a kid in Chicago, Peoria, St. Louis area that you think is good enough to play at this level,
they want him, and
they need to offer them pretty early. And besides Kendrick Green, they've done that with a lot of kids, including Alex Palczewski, who they just offered.
Okay.
They were the first school to offer him. He didn't play his junior year because of an injury. They offer him, and now he's blown up.
Oh, wow.
Right? He's getting offers from everybody.
Okay.
You want to be that first offer.
Agree.
Kendall Smith, they were one of the first to offer him. He commits. Mark Mondesir, linebacker, first offer him. He commits. Cam Thomas, we're starting to get all this Big Ten interest.
Right.
Garrick McGee becomes the first to offer. He commits.
Okay.
I think it's very important that if you think these guys can play at the next level, identify it early, offer them early. Because if you want loyalty from the state, you got to show loyalty to those kids as well, at least priority to those kids. And we had Garrick McGee on. We talked about Lamar Jackson, Wes Lunt, Lovie Smith. Phenomenal stuff. Go get the podcast. But we asked him about quarterbacks and what he wants out of his offense. And here's what he had to say about that.
I get tagged. It's probably because of Lamar and Reggie Bonifant that I get tagged that I'm looking for a running quarterback. I'm just looking for a competitor, an extreme competitor, a guy that's going to lay it on the line for this program week in and week out. That's the characteristic that I look for the most. It's not necessarily can he run or does he throw. My dad used to tell me all the time. I would ask him who's his favorite basketball player of all time. My dad would say Magic Johnson. And I would go, he can't shoot, or he can run and pass, but he can't shoot. And he would go, yeah, but when he's on the floor, everybody else plays better.
Amen.
That's the guy I want, and that's what I'm looking for at quarterback. And that's the skill set that you need at quarterback.
And Corin Taylor's got that.
Yeah, you said that from the beginning. He's got the it factor that Garrick McGee's looking for. Now, I challenged you on this and said, now hold on a second. Were you shocked by that? Your response was, well, every quarterback he's offered, though, can run.
Yes.
Can run. And so it's not that we're calling Garrick McGee a liar.
He's saying his priority is that.
Yes.
But they also want an athlete with a pretty good arm. And Dwayne Lawson is that.
Yeah.
Cam Thomas hasn't won a lot of games,
right,
but he's a smart kid.
Yep.
He's not as loud as I think his corners. He's had much swagger, but he was on a terrible team. But he's got the tools that Garrick McGee wants.
He also talked a little bit about how Lovie Smith recruited him, and Garrick McGee's father said, nope, that's where you're going. I don't care wherever he's coaching, you're going there because not only do I trust him as your father, but you're going to end up in his tree one day coaching, and boom, he's in there. So I like that. I like hearing that, and that's what Garrick said. He tells that story to every family he visits, and then Lovie Smith goes in 2 weeks later and meets with him. And as he said about Lovie, he's famous, as you said, but he's so humble.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's interesting and what's cool about
He told
this
me
recruiting.
bona fide closer.
Awesome.
I think you got the best head coach recruiter.
Awesome.
I mean, obviously since Zook, but I think you got a guy who could be as good, if not better, than Zook at that. We also talked with Kendall Gill, Comcast Sportsnet in Chicago.
Just another day talking to Kendall Gill.
Yeah, he thinks the Bulls are probably the second best team in the East. He said Rondo is the big key to that team, but also health. You know, Michael Carter-Williams is hurt. Doug McDermott's been hurt.
Okay.
So obviously they need to step up. But Tom Thibodeau returns to Chicago tonight.
Nice.
Going to be interesting to watch that. But Lon, you asked a great question about what it's like as a player to be in trade rumors and to get traded. And Kendall is about a minute and a half here, but it's a phenomenal story.
Awesome.
I can give you a prime example. The one time that I was traded and I didn't know that I was going to be traded is when I went back to Charlotte from Seattle. I came back and I was playing great. I thought Larry Johnson, myself, Alonzo Mourning, and I were going to continue to grow together. And then they traded Alonzo to Miami for Glenn Rice and Matt Geiger and I believe Khalid Reeves. And Larry Johnson and I were left to play with that team. Well, I was playing well. I was getting triple doubles, and I saw the owner like 3 days before they gave me the news. He said, "You know what, Kendall? We're glad you came back. We never should have separated. You're going to be here the rest of your career." 3 days later, they traded me.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was sitting there. And the funny story is, I was sitting down on South Beach having a great time. We were about to play the Miami Heat, and my agent calls me and says, "Hey, Kendall, you've been traded." And at first I thought he was just playing around with me. And then I was like, "What?" I was like, "Are you serious?" Oh. And then he's like, "Yeah, I didn't even ask the who." And then after the initial shock, I got over the initial shock. He said, "You've been traded to New Jersey." and then I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, at least I can live in Manhattan."
There you go.
That's right.
I love it. That's a cool story.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I don't drink even to this day, but I had a couple drinks that.
He's like, "Forget it. I'm going to New Jersey." And you asked a great follow-up. He played for Coach Cal, John Calipari, which was really interesting.
Yeah, and he said he was a heck of a coach.
Yep.
Just screamed a bit too much.
Yep.
He was used to coaching boys, that those guys are men making millions of dollars, and it's a little bit different of a game, but he said he was a heck of an X's and O's coach, and I think it's always overlooked with Cal.
Right.
Because everyone's like, oh, anybody can win with that talent. Well, one, it's a great coach to get that talent,
right.
And two, every year but really one, they've been a great team.
Okay.
Right? I mean, there was that 1 year when they went to the NIT and they lost to, I forgot who, Robert Morris.
Yeah, Robert Morris.
But every other year, they have been a great team.
Were you shocked when Kendall said that the Bulls are the second best team in the East? Did that shock you a little bit?
I think they can be. I think Toronto might be a little bit better. New York Knicks, I think the Bulls and the Knicks are similar. There's not a lot of great teams. There's a lot of solid to good teams, while the West is actually where you got a couple really great teams, but then there's a big drop-off.
Okay.
The Oklahoma City's a solid team.
Yeah.
Houston's a solid team. But the West is losing some of its depth while the East is gaining
it. Well, it's about time because it seems like the West is dominated for quite a bit here, for quite a while.
That's Drive Time, presented by Honda BMW of Champaign. For new and used vehicles, visit their huge inventory at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy, or visit them online at drivechampaign.com.
Hey, it is wide open. No guests in the 5 o'clock hour. If you want to weigh in, 359-2255. You can text the Chief Bauer text line. You can call the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line. We're going to do Tay's Take at 5:45 or thereabouts. That's when I'll answer any question you have about anything minus politics.
I also have a list. I put together a list today
we haven't done that in a while.
Possible opponents that Illinois could play at the United Center.
Awesome. We'll do it all next. And if you want to weigh in on Tay's Take and get a question in, just text the Cheap Hour text line 359-2255, or you can tweet at Jeremy. It's at J Warner Scout. It is the Tay and J Show.
We have a new station in our family. When you need some encouragement and you want to hear some great Christian pop music, check out the new Christian FM 95.3, a proud sister station of ESPN Radio 93.5.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat. From Charlotte, here's Dari Noka.
I never like seeing coaches lose their jobs, but this one was a no-brainer. Jeff Fisher out as Rams head coach. His team is 4-9 and just lost at home to the Falcons 42-14. And the game wasn't nearly as close as the 4-touchdown result would indicate. Yes, it was that bad. They've now been blown out in 3 straight games. It's time. It had to happen. While Los Angeles wants and needs the football team it has, Los Angeles won't continue to show up to see the Rams, or as they used to be called in their downtrodden years in Anaheim, the Lambs, get fleeced every week. I like Jeff Fisher, but I also understand Jeff Fisher has coached a lot of years with very few that stand out. Listen to the numbers. Fisher's been an NFL head coach for all or parts of 22 seasons. He's had a winning record in 6 of those 22 seasons. He's led his team to 1 Super Bowl 17 years ago. There aren't many that would have gotten the opportunities Jeff Fisher has, but it was time. No, it was past time for this last one to come to an end. In 60 seconds, who doesn't love a school president who talks a little smack?
AutoZone presents Peak Performance. Maximizing fuel economy, engine life, and overall performance doesn't take a lot, thanks to field treatment and fluids from AutoZone. And right now, buy one 12-ounce bottle of Chevron Techron Complete Fuel System Cleaner and get one free. So visit your local AutoZone. With over 5,000 locations, the right supplies and good advice are just around the corner, so you can fix your car with confidence. Hoods up, America.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
See store for restrictions and details.
Hey, Santa, that sure is a nice package you have there. Can I see what's inside?
Ho, ho, ho. Not this year, Jane. It's your husband's turn.
Bill?
That's right. Bill's in for quite the surprise when he opens this package. I stopped at DXL and got everything he needs. They have all the best men's brands in waist sizes 38 and up. Shop DXL stores now through December 24th for deals from 30 to 50% off. See store for details.
The University of Houston does not want its football program to be considered a stepping stone. Tom Herman, now at Texas, used it as one, but he's not the first to do it. School president Renu Couture clearly continues to follow the paths of those who have done it before Herman. At a recent holiday party, Couture told attendees she wishes Tom Herman luck at Texas, and she hopes he does better for the Horns than former Houston coaches Kevin Sumlin has done at Texas A&M or Art Briles did at Baylor before he was fired. Ouch. But she's exactly right. Briles' former Baylor program is in shambles on and off the field, and Sumlin will enter next season on a seat that's in flames. Note to new Houston head coach Major Applewhite, don't make enemies with your school president. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Dari Noble.
Champagne Surplus is the place to shop this holiday season. From that big gift they've always wanted, like Hobie pedal drive fishing kayaks and the one-wheel electric board, to fun, unique stocking stuffers like portable Bluetooth speakers and merino wool socks. You'll find great gifts for everyone on your list. Plus, Champagne Surplus has a price match guarantee, so you can shop local for the same great price as anywhere else. Hurry into Champagne Surplus, your local holiday gift headquarters, 303 South Neal Street, downtown Champaign.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Got my hand caught in the headphone wire there.
Uh-oh, okay. I was wondering what was happening over there.
I went to put it on my head, hand wrapped around the wire.
Okay.
Radio professional, ladies and gentlemen. 5:23 from the Sports Center Update studio. James Wood with your Sports Center Update, brought to you by the Mettler Center. If you're looking to take your fitness to the next level, lawn, you were talking about winter lawn. I know some people you can get a hold of. You can set up a 30-minute consultation at mettlercenter.com.
That is a great place. Jeremy and I did that at Mettler Center, and we loved it.
Yeah, I could probably use it. Winter James actually exists during the summer, too. That's the biggest problem. Illinois football has sent an offer to Peoria High School quarterback Corin Taylor. He'll come in the 2018 class. Taylor helped to lead the school to a 5A state championship. NFL, Patriots beat the Ravens 30-23. Tom Brady, a really good game. 3 touchdowns, over 400 yards, but he threw his second interception of the year. He doubled his interceptions in that game. Thanks to LeGarrette Blount, I get to go to the next round of both Fantasy League playoffs. Bulls welcome former head coach Tom Thibodeau to the United Center tonight. The Timberwolves have 6 games in their win column. Bulls have 13. Baseball continues to roll on. Nationals have been linked to the White Sox in a report saying that they might want David Robertson. The Nationals have missed out on a number of other closers this season. John Heyman reporting earlier today that the Pirates rejected a nice haul of prospects from a mystery team in exchange for Andrew McCutchen, citing they want more MLB talent. Blackhawks in New York, they play the Rangers. Jonathan Taves back from IR for the road trip. Blues are in Nashville to place the Predators. The Notes are 4 points short of the lead in the Central behind the Blackhawks. I'm James Woodard with your 5:30 Sports Center update.
I think my favorite team in baseball might be Mystery Team.
Yeah.
Every winter they show up. And they make a huge impact.
They really do.
They never land the player.
Nope.
But Mystery Team always makes a huge impact.
Still, they never win games.
Yeah. They don't play games. But somehow they have a huge impact on the game. Remember when I gave up my White Sox fandom until they picked a decision?
Yeah.
Well, now since they have.
Right.
But for a while I was thinking about Mystery Team.
Just rooting for them.
Yeah, they basically, the Tootsie Pops with the question mark on them. That was Mystery Team's logo.
I'm with you on this because you do hear this every offseason. I want to know what happened to the player to be named later. When did that not become a thing anymore?
It still is.
Is it?
Yeah.
I haven't heard a player to be named later trade in so long.
It just happened.
Did it really?
Yeah, somebody just traded. Was it the Cubs?
Maybe.
I forgot who it was.
Yeah, it just seems
somebody
like
just acquired somebody and it was a player to be named later that they gave up.
Well, I mean, how cool would that be one day on your resume to either be Mr. Irrelevant or Mr. Player to be named later? Like, Bob, you played in Major League Baseball?
Austin Berkland. Look up the best players to be named later ever.
Do you think you can actually Google that?
Everything's on the internet,
This is unbelievable how you can Google seriously anything.
That's what we got interns for.
Absolutely.
Have them look up a list of that.
I Googled something the other day that was ridiculous, and it gave me an answer. And I was like, I didn't even think that I could Google that. I don't know. I don't even know what it was. That's a great story, but it was just really, it came down to, I was just trying to figure something out, and I'm like, what? Yeah. I don't know who it would be. It's interesting.
All right. Let's get to the Chief Hour text line. There's a couple questions on here. Somebody asked, we were talking about recruiting and quarterbacks. What about DJ Lee from St. Thomas More? DJ is a really, really good athlete, definitely a Division I athlete. Had an offer from Louisville. I don't know if that's still committable.
Okay.
Illinois has shown interest in him. He's visited Illinois a couple times. I don't know if they'll offer him. His issue is he's really skinny.
He's very skinny.
He's a heck of an athlete.
Yep.
Can he get to 180, 190 pounds is my question. And he's got a long way to get there.
He really does. I mean, he's fun to watch.
Oh, I think he's a definite Division I player.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll have some options. He's got some options right now. I don't know if he's going to be a guy Illinois looks at because as a defensive back, which I think is going to be his position, or a slot receiver, I think they want some more physical on defense. And I think Kendall Smith is kind of like DJ Lee, only a little bigger right now. So I don't know if they need another one in those class. I mean, if you want to walk on or something, obviously they'd love to have him.
Interesting how this year, with about 25 guys you're able to recruit, that you may see a guy like a DJ Lee kind of slip onto an Illinois roster. Whereas next year, when you only have maybe 10 to 12 guys because of the class size, you can't do that next year, right? You can't take a chance with somebody next year.
Right.
You've got to get...
Well, Garrick McGee was saying we need to get players.
Yes.
We can't miss on too many players in this class. So they're not going to take as many, let's see if this kid works out.
Right, exactly.
They need to take guys they know are going to have the size, speed, athleticism for this level.
Okay. Austin's firing stuff off now, and I can't read them all.
Here, I got a couple.
Got it? Okay,
on August 7, 2002, is this Coco Crisp? Went from St. Louis to Cleveland to complete a July 19 trade for left-hander Chuck Finley.
Wow, and Coco Crisp, of course, had the big hit against the Cubbies. And was that in the World Series? Was he with the Indians?
Who's that?
Coco?
Yeah.
He was with the Indians, right? Yeah. And he had the big hit there. But Coco Crisp had a pretty good career. Not great. Had a pretty good career.
I believe this is Gio Gonzalez was the player to be named later when the White Sox dealt him, Aaron Rowand, and Daniel Hagewood to the Phillies for Jim Tomei and cash.
Okay.
And Michael Brantley.
So Gio Gonzalez was with the White Sox, then the Phillies.
Then back to the White Sox.
Then the White Sox, then the
and
Nationals.
They traded him for the Nick Swisher.
Okay. And he finally kind of held traction with the Nationals.
Here's another one. Michael Brantley added as a player to be named later in a package from Milwaukee. It included Matt Laporta, Zach Jackson, and Rob Bryson. That was for Sabathia. And Laporta was the big guy in that one, and Michael Brantley ends up the best player. And I wonder if he would have been healthy in the World Series, what would happen
That
there.
would have been interesting. All right. And then Cleveland, gets they got rid of CeCe.
David Ortiz, is this the last one? Wow, that probably takes the cake as player to be named later. Was part of a trade that sent Dave Hollins from Minnesota to Seattle. He spent 6 seasons with the Twins.
Wow.
And then the Twins let him go. I remember David Ortiz on the Twins because the White Sox used to play him all the time.
Yeah.
He was with Jock Jones and Torrey Hunter and all those guys. And the pitching staff of Joe Mays and all those guys who killed
guys
us.
that you hated.
Soft tossing lefties line.
Aaron Miles, or not Aaron Miles. Who was the little dude that you hated that went to the Cardinals?
Nick Punto.
Nick Punto. He was the shredder.
Yeah.
That's really good, Austin. Thank you.
Yeah,
So David Ortiz, best player to be named later.
They let him go to the Red Sox after that.
How about the best Mr. Irrelevant? We got one more thing for you to do.
Well, here I got a list, Lon.
You do?
I do have a list.
Holy
we brought up the Charlotte Hornets with Kendall Gill and how much fun those teams were in the mid '90s. Even Garrick McGee said he had the starters jacket.
That's awesome.
The teal starters jacket. So I got a list. Been a while.
Oh.
He's got a list. Jeremy has got a list. He's got a list. Jeremy has got a list. 'Cause we love to go through lists.
Yeah, baby.
Just to mess with the lawn.
All right.
This is awesome.
So we got Charlotte Hornets history
here.
here.
What do you choose when you choose appetizers? Do you go mozzarella sticks or chicken wings? That's all I got.
I like the sampler.
Yeah, the
Get a little bit of
sampler.
everything.
Yeah, when they throw on like 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Dad Werner.
They're always expensive.
Papa Werner wants the potato skins.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's what he goes with.
I like those.
That's really
So
good.
if you could pick 3 real quick before the list. if you
I love this show right now. We had so much content, and now we're just going nuts. This show is awesome. I love this.
Okay, so top 3 chicken wings for sure, right?
See, I like chicken wings as a meal.
Okay, I'm with you actually on that.
Yeah.
Let's push them aside.
Yeah, my wife goes mozzarella sticks.
I love mozzarella. So I think I could actually go eat with your wife and your dad.
Yeah.
Because we could do a sampler of mozzarella sticks, the potato skins, and then there's got to be one more. I don't know what else you do. Maybe some nachos?
Yeah.
Throw some nachos in there. All right, that's probably my sampler.
See, I would go with the chips and queso.
Okay.
Something like that, or a spinach dip.
Nah, that's way too healthy.
Healthy? Spinach dip?
It just sounds healthy.
It's got spinach in it, but it's not very
Anything
healthy.
that has spinach in it just sounds healthy.
If anybody has tater tots, any kind of tots.
Okay. You like tater tots.
Oh.
Okay.
That might be in the... Like if I had one last meal, tater tots are probably
really
involved.
Okay. We've never asked you that question.
Yeah,
we want your last
tater
meal
tots
sometime.
probably involved.
All right, we had a list.
Yeah,
and I interrupted you.
Let's get the interns on. Hey, you guys got appetizers? What's the go-to appetizer? Austin?
Chips and salsa for me is
simple
it's to die for.
Yeah. And you can get that free some places,
right?
Which is kind of nice.
Right?
James, what you got?
I am a either a mozzarella sticks or like the spinach and artichoke dip.
Yeah,
with like the pita bread and it's all cheese. Like the spinach is there to make you feel better about yourself. It's just melty cheese.
Yeah,
that's why I like the queso. You can get the nacho or the chips and queso or whatever. That stuff's good.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
first.
you did.
You didn't hear me. All right, so guys, top 10 scorers in Hornets history.
Wow.
This includes the Charlotte Hornets and the New Orleans Hornets, I believe, also in this.
Hold on. Let's bring up some Ahmad Rashad thoughts here as we try to pick the top 10 scorers. Larry Johnson.
Top 10 scorers in Charlotte Hornets history. Larry Johnson, number 3,
all right,
with 7,405 points.
Vlade Divac.
Vlade Divac not on the list, but they did acquire him for a certain Kobe Bryant back in 1996.
Wow. Alonzo Mourning.
Alonzo Mourning, not on the list.
Wow. Del Curry.
Del Curry, number 1 on the list.
Really?
9,839 points.
Glenn Rice would be number 2.
Glenn Rice is number 5.
Ooh.
5,651 points.
Who were some former Charlotte?
This includes the New Orleans Hornets, right?
I think all these guys I'm looking at are all Charlotte.
Okay.
I think basically
Would it
Charlotte.
be the Charlotte Bobcats then?
I believe so, yes.
Emeka Okafor?
Emeka Okafor, number 10.
Well done.
Good call.
Well done. I was thinking Gilbert Arenas, but he only played for Washington, right? He didn't play for Charlotte. Is Muggsy?
Muggsy Bogues, number 6 on the
Holy
list. 5,531 points. Played 10 seasons at 5'3".
Power to the short dude.
Yeah.
10 seasons. That's unreal.
For my generation, most known for Space Jam.
Yeah, right.
Being the little
right.
guy.
Mm-hmm. Kendall Gill?
Lon, you're hogging the mic over there. Kendall Gill not on the list.
I'm going to shut up now.
James, who you got?
Their best player in recent history, Kemba Walker.
Kemba Walker, number 4.
Wow, was he the UConn dude?
Yeah, he's really good, by the way.
Kemba Walker played in like the 6 overtime.
Yeah. He was
thriller.
awesome.
Yeah, he was
6,307 points.
Man. So we're missing number 2.
Missing number 2, 7, 8, and 9.
Gerald Wallace?
Gerald Wallace, number 2. All time.
Oh, okay.
For Bobcats/Hornets history, 7,437 points.
You interns aren't looking at a computer, are you?
No.
Okay, you're not cheating?
7, 8, and 9. One of these guys played against Illinois in one of the biggest games in their history.
Chris Paul?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Mark Price?
No.
Channing Frye?
No. That year, though.
Salim Stoudemire?
No, not that game.
Oh, Sean Mays.
Who is Sean May's teammate?
Yeah, the guard.
Or Sean McCants?
Or no.
Who's the other guard?
Good, the kid that
good point guard.
Yeah,
Raymond Felton.
Good call.
Ray Felton.
He's the one that blew the whistle right
Number 7.
On their little study program.
This is a former Duke shooting guard. Has been in the NBA since 2009 to 2015.
J.J. Redick?
His dad also played in the NBA.
Not Redick. Shooting guard. His dad, Chris Collins. No, his dad was in the NBA.
His name rhymes with the all-time, or his last name's the same as the all-time steals leader in baseball.
Wow.
Gerald Henderson?
That's it, Gerald Henderson.
Good call. I would not have thought of Gerald Henderson.
This guy hit threes from 97 to 2002. That's all he did.
For Charlotte.
He's got 2 first names. One is the same as the former bearded
Sharif
intern.
Abdul-Rahim?
No.
World be free.
One is the same name as a former bearded intern at the Tay and J Show line.
Really?
Let's see if you remember his name.
I just remember bearded intern. I know everything about that dude.
His last name was Stites. What was his first name?
Oh, man. Come on. This is horrible. Sorry, bearded one.
Wesley.
Yeah, Wesley
Matthews?
No, that's his last name is Wesley.
Oh, come on, Lon.
David Wesley.
That's his name?
David Wesley.
David Wesley. Oh, I was
threes.
thinking of a Wesley like Snipes. Sniper.
David Wesley. That's the top 10.
Okay.
That was a fun game, guys. That's your all-time leaders in scoring.
Gosh
for
dang
the
it.
Charlotte Hornets. Somebody knock off Del Curry. Kemba is probably going to get that.
Del Curry. I didn't know. That guy we probably don't give enough.
He played with him for 11 seasons.
Yeah, so that always helps. Now, you also had, are you going to bring up your list about Illinois?
I do. I'm going to publish this tomorrow on my site. But here is my list of teams I think Illinois could play.
Florida.
And let me know what you think of them.
Okay.
I broke them off into 4 different categories. The first one is national powers.
Got it.
So who cares? Just schedule the best because, you know, if you go big, people won't stay home.
No, they will not.
Right? I mean, if you go big and you get some of the best national powers in here, even if they return a trip, people are going to show up.
Kentucky would be number 1.
Kentucky is on that list. The issue is they already come to Chicago for the Champions Classic.
Oh, that's right.
Would they come for another game? And I don't worry about them recruiting over you because they're going to.
They're going to anyway. That's a good call.
Arizona.
Duke. Arizona, okay.
Arizona. They had a nice little rivalry going there with Wood Olson.
Yeah, they did.
Sean Miller's program a little bit ahead of Illinois. But I wouldn't mind a return trip to Phoenix or Tucson or something like that.
Should Sean Miller be better than what he is? Because he always gets like the number 1 recruiting class, it seems like, or one of the top 4.
He dominates the Pac-12.
Okay.
His issue is, the only reason you don't talk about him enough, he's the best coach not to make a Final Four.
Yeah, that's that. Okay, fair enough.
It was him and Bo Ryan that one year, and Bo Ryan ended up winning.
And he won it. Okay.
Kansas.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Bringing Bill Self back. Yes. That would be fantastic. Just do it.
And add it because The Jayhawks tried to steal Jeremiah Tillman.
Yes.
Bring him in here. Let's play him together. Again, you got nothing to lose.
No, that would be...
I think Illini fans would be more pumped about Kansas than Kentucky or Arizona.
Without a doubt.
UCLA.
Yeah, I said them. All right, I mentioned that team yesterday. I like that. I like that idea.
And fans don't like their head coach either.
Nope, not Stevie Alford, although he taught me a lot of fundamentals growing up.
And come on, a return trip to Staples or even just Pauley Pavilion.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that.
Yes.
The other one I had, Syracuse.
Okay.
Return trip to Madison Square Garden.
I like that.
Or the Carrier Dome, either one of those. All right, I got emerging Midwest powers.
Okay.
Butler.
Yeah.
People seem like really excited. Every time I mention that, people are like, yeah.
Oh, I would enjoy that. I don't know that I would. I'm penciling in here in my thought. Would I drive to Chicago to see this?
Okay, well, answer me on these. I'm guessing those top 5.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
Without a doubt on the top 5. Butler, I'm not sure I would.
Well, Gross and current Butler coach Chris Holtman were teammates
at
Division II Taylor University. And Butler, you got excited about it. They're a brand name at this point.
They are.
I think it'd be a fun, competitive game, and I think the Butler fans would come up from Indy. It's a short drive.
And the one thing when I say, I think it's because I'm thinking about it right now, but let's say for this argument of going forward that Illinois is a top 25 team, and the teams you're listing so far are going to be top 25.
How about just an NCAA tournament team?
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
NCAA tournament team. I'm going to probably go watch Butler then because they're going to be ranked.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to. If Illinois is good, people will probably show up.
Without a doubt.
But playing UIC and some of these schools.
Even if Illinois was ranked number 1 in the country, I wouldn't go watch UIC.
You would?
No.
Okay. Wichita State.
Yes. I would definitely drive up for that.
That's starting to be a brand name.
I like that.
They're a little bit more beatable now, and you don't have to play Fred Van Vliet and have that storyline of Illinois, Jaron Tower going to watch him saying, no, he's not good enough, and then he blows up into that.
Yeah, exactly.
All-American. How about Creighton?
I don't think so.
Okay. Doug McDermott could watch his former team.
Well, he could. He's right there in town. I don't think I would Creighton. Back in the day, I would watch Creighton, but now, probably not.
Xavier.
Yes, I would watch Xavier.
I shouldn't even call them emerging. I mean, they're one of the most consistent, best programs in the Midwest for a while.
It is amazing why I do not give them credit. I just don't.
Yeah.
I will not allow
Sweet
myself.
16 almost every year.
And I won't allow myself to believe in my head that Xavier's that good of a team.
Local ties.
Okay.
Notre Dame.
Yes, in a heartbeat.
They won't come here, though.
No.
Illinois has tried. Notre Dame has no interest. They consider themselves an East Coast school.
Yes.
Not a
Midwest
program.
I agree.
Or
yeah.
Chicago.
But I would go watch Notre Dame, yes.
I mention this all the time. I don't need to get into it. Marquette.
Yep, I would watch that.
I mean, they're closer to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
They want to recruit Chicago. You're pretty close with what your programs are.
Yeah.
Marquette's been a little bit better recently, but they're struggling a little bit.
I'm going to rephrase. I don't think I would go for Marquette.
No?
No. I
think
like
it's a
that
solid
idea,
opponent.
though.
I think it's a solid opponent.
I think it's a perfect opponent.
It's better than some of the ones they've had recently.
Yeah, right.
And it makes sense if you don't want to return a game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's John Gross doesn't want to return a game because their schedule has so many guarantees of we're going here and there anyway.
That's the little Duke guard, right? Wojciechowski or Wojciechowski or whatever his name was.
DePaul.
I'd want to say yes, but they are horrible.
Right.
I mean, Northwestern beat them by like 30.
DePaul would have loved this game.
Yeah, they would. Totally.
I think there'd be a little bit of local interest, but not as much as people think in Chicago.
No.
Because DePaul stinks and Illinois is not very good right now.
Yep.
And this doesn't help Illinois.
No.
DePaul's often in the bottom half of the RPI, so even if you beat them, it's not going to help you.
Right. And you don't want to lose to them accidentally.
Illinois State.
Yes. I would love to see that.
Illinois has no reason to schedule it.
No, not at all.
But it'd be fun.
It would be fun one time.
It would be fun.
Just one time. I wouldn't want to go if this was like a 3-year,
I think
whatever.
you schedule this in 4 years when you're better.
Mm-hmm.
When you feel better about yourself.
I agree.
I think you could schedule that game.
I think that'd be cool.
This is my favorite. Storyline opponents. SLU.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
Jordan Goodwin versus Jeremiah Tillman. Travis Ford against John Gross.
Yes.
You might want to schedule that one soon because SLU might have more talent than you.
How about one at the Scott trade and one in Chicago? How about a 2-year?
No, I just think you have them come to you.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
already down in Scott trade once.
Good call. All right. Yes, I would.
You could return a game to them.
I would love to see SLU. SIU's getting ready to play SLU.
Houston. You know why that's a storyline? Kelvin Sampson is there.
Oh, okay.
And now you return a game to Houston. I don't know if people are going to show up to wherever the Rockets play.
Right. I don't think I have. I should, but I don't.
Houston's pretty good now.
No, I know, but I don't think I have the angst of Kelvin Sampson,
Right.
just because he took Indiana down to the bottom
He
depths.
helped you, right?
Yeah, he actually was
But he
helping
stole
us.
Eric Gordon.
He did steal Eric.
Here's a storyline that might not last that much longer, so you might have to do it.
Okay.
Kansas State.
Oh, I'll take that. I would love Bruce Weber
But,
coming up.
I mean, if you schedule that game now, you don't know if he's going to be there.
That's true.
So it might not be a very good game. Interesting game. Or the other coach might be gone.
Well, right. Yeah, we might not get Gross and Weber in that one.
This was suggested by Earl Derek Piper. He said Florida.
I like Florida.
And he said, show Florida where the best point guard in their state plays.
Ooh, wow. So we're getting not only welcoming them into a cold city at that time of year, but you're also going to talk smack saying, hey, we got your guard.
Now, would you rather return the game to Miami or would you rather return the game to Florida? I'd rather go to those campuses.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
I'd rather play at Florida. I've been to that little stadium, or
And
that little whatever it is.
My last one.
Okay.
Auburn. They've come up
Bruce
here.
Pearl,
They've come up here recently.
I was going to say, we played.
Tracy Abrams had his career high until the other day.
That's right.
Against Auburn. Deion Thomas calling a game against Bruce Pearl. And all that talent coming into Auburn, they could be a pretty good opponent.
They could be really good. I wouldn't do that to Deion. I would not make Deion have to live through that. I really don't. I really wouldn't.
Couldn't it happen? Was it Maui?
Yeah.
That could end
next
up
year.
happening?
Next year at Maui. They're
2 years.
Or two, I'm sorry. They're probably going to play at Maui.
Come on, Maui.
Well, you know that. Well, NCAA tournament, I guarantee
unless Altenberger gets to go out there
that's
instead
true.
of
Well, yeah,
Deion.
Deion never takes the really cool trips like he did into Miami. You know, if Illinois and Auburn are in the NCAA tournament this year, they're in the same pod.
Tournament committee.
It's automatic.
Get on it.
Can you see an 8-9?
I would love it.
Is Auburn, how good are they this year?
Oh, I'd have to check.
I mean, could you see an 8-9 game? Auburn, Illinois, 8-9 game. I think that would be fantastic. I could see it. Or a 6-11. How about Illinois as an 11 and Auburn a 6? Or vice versa if you want it.
How about Illinois not getting 11? They could just get in a little more. Auburn 6-2, but they have some quality wins. Texas Tech, UAB, good wins. But they just lost to Boston College.
Yeah.
Ugh.
All right, 8-9 game.
How about the 6-11 game? Illinois, the 6,
okay, that's
Auburn,
fine.
the 11.
That's although the 11s always win. That's why I was going Illinois 11. Because it seems like the 11s always
I think
beat
you'd rather
the 6.
Illinois be a 6.
You're right. Because that means the regular season was a little bit better than we thought.
All right, coming up next, we got a lot of Taste Take questions.
Okay.
Thanks for sending those in. Lon will answer your questions coming up next. If you got any last-minute ones, you can text us at 217-359-2255.
It is the Tay and J Show.
Check out the new Honda BMW of Champaign, formerly Twin City Honda BMW, and still located in Savoy. These guys are crazy for used vehicles. Truckloads of pre-owned vehicles, 25 to 50% off the price of a similar new model. And not just Hondas and BMWs, cars, pickup trucks, and SUVs of all makes. Financing options on used cars as low as 1.9%. Just drive by Honda BMW of Champaign and you'll see from the street that this is a new dealership. Honda BMW of Champaign, online at drivechampaign.com.
Hi, I'm Sam Banks, Executive Director of the Don Moyer Boys and Girls Club. At the Boys and Girls Club, we're working to provide immediate and long-lasting impact in the lives of youth in our community, particularly those who need us most. You can help us impact the lives of the kids and families who come through our doors. The holiday season is a time of giving. Giving to the Boys and Girls Club will help provide the people, facilities, and other resources needed to open doors to a brighter future for youth in our community. As you think about your holiday giving plans, I hope you will choose to help open doors for the kids here at the Boys and Girls Club. With your help, a kid can have a safe place to come after school and find help with his homework, participate in activities that encourage positive character and values, spend time with a positive adult, and just have fun. Help open doors for kids who need the Don Moyer Boys and Girls Club. Visit our website at donmoyerboysandgirlsclub.org or call us at 355-KIDS. What door will you open for a kid today?
Say hello to 2017 at the Red Lions New Year's Eve party. Enjoy $1 You Call It featuring domestic bottles and wells. Everything else in the house is just $2. Free appetizers plus party favors and a live DJ counting you down to a champagne toast at midnight. Only at Red Lion. Also, New Year's Eve ticket holders get a ticket to a New Year's Day appetizer buffet at Firehouse before the Illinois-Ohio State game. Get your discounted tickets today online at redlionchampaign.com. Don't wait. Tickets will sell out. It's all at the Red Lion, 3rd Street in Champaign.
The one constant in life is change. Throughout our lives, we go down roads that we never imagined, and we need to be prepared for whatever comes our way. Want to own your future? Contact Country Financial Representative Jesse DeHaan. Jesse can help put a solid plan in place with insurance solutions to help make sure you're protected for whatever lies ahead. Get started today. Contact Jesse DeHaan in Champaign at 352-3466 for Country Financial.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. We're offering a great new deal on qualifying Train heating and cooling systems. For a limited time, you can play the Train Big Game promotion by scratching off a trade-in allowance up to $2,000. Or you can choose another way to save. Get 0% interest for 5 years. That's no interest with equal payments and approved credit for 5 years on any qualifying Train system. Both options are for a limited time. So pick your best deal. Up to $2,000 trade allowance or 0% interest for 5 years. Call 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or find us online at landsinc.com. And remember, it's hard to stop a train. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
See Lands, your independent train dealer for program details. Call 888-534-6894 about credit costs and terms. Regular APR is 28.99% for newly opened accounts. Subject to credit approval. Offer expires December 15, 2016.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Oh, yeah! What you feeling, huh? What's on your mind, huh?
I think I have too much information stored in my brain. It's an interesting theory.
Let me just close this conversation by saying you are one unique individual.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
It is Tay's Take, brought to you by DP Dough, the original calzone company on campus since 2006. Up late and hungry? DP Dough is there. You can order online at dpdough.com. Let's try out the chicken bacon zone. It's easy.
Okay.
Breaded chicken, bacon, mozzarella. Bacon? Order it online at dpdough.com. Juan, you ready?
I'm ready.
Good. We got a lot of questions.
Okay.
Michael in Monticello. I have a 14-year-old son who apparently is an expert on winter fashion. He tries to insist on wearing his cargo cacks, even with snow on the ground.
Okay.
As the expert on this topic, Lon, at what temperature do you put your shorts away for the season?
Never. And I'm being dead serious because you guys know this. Yes. I bring him in here. Now, I don't know what the school tells him, and he probably can't, if they're going to go outside or something, he can't do that.
Now, do you change your cacks after you leave, or do you have your cacks on in your truck?
No, I have them on the truck. Okay. Absolutely. Listen, here's the deal. For your son, he might be just like me where he doesn't get cold. Like, my legs do not get cold. It has to be like, if it's a blizzard, I don't wear khakis.
See, here's the thing.
I don't wear shorts.
I had a friend in high school that's like an offensive lineman size.
Yeah.
He never got hot and wore shorts.
Yeah.
Or he never got cold and wore shorts. You're not built that way.
I'm not, but my legs never get cold. I used to
because your monster calves.
Right, exactly. I used to snowmobile with shorts on.
That's weird.
No, it was fine. So I used to snowmobile with shorts. My legs have never gotten cold, but my upper body, you've got to make sure when he goes to school that he's got everything on upper body, even a little,
winter jacket, stocking cap, and cacks.
I'm not helping the dad out here in this
winter
argument.
Boots
right.
with cacks.
Right?
All right, 608 texter. If you could be any athlete, who would you be and why?
Oh, my. Any athletes. If I could be any athlete. I'm trying to think of all sports
You'd
going
be
through
Lane
my head
Kiffin.
right now. Right.
No, he's divorced. We forgot about that.
Any athlete. I wouldn't want to be a football guy. I'd want to be a baseball player.
Yeah.
And I'd want to be, do I want to be as big as Giancarlo Stanton? I bet that dude doesn't have any problems. Who would I want to be as a baseball player?
Trout, Harper, Kershaw. No,
you know what?
You'd probably pick like Yadi Molina.
No, I wouldn't. Man, come on, Lon. We got a lot of questions
Joey
here.
Bats.
You know what? This is really going to make, it might be Chris Bryant. My goodness.
Yeah, that's a good
McDreamy's
call.
eyes and the fact that he's going to be like an MVP for the next 30 years.
That's a good call.
I'm going Bryant.
Dang it.
Dang it.
Who would Lon like to see as the next head coach of the Dogs?
Oh, well,
is SIU in trouble?
I wonder if this is the guy that just texted me on this. Well, Barry Henson just...
basketball.
Yeah, yes. Roger Powell. Raj.
Good luck.
You don't think he'd go there? You don't think Raj would take
Got
that
the
job?
money for it?
No,
He's got a good job.
Yeah, I know. What's he make at Valpo?
And he makes 200 something.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Well, then Southern doesn't have that kind of money.
Well, they used to, and then they spent it all on Lowry.
Right.
CeeLo.
Which scares you if they do that again.
Yeah.
But you're asking me for argument's sake.
That's a good one.
Raj, I want Roger Powell down there. I would trust him to totally run that program.
We got a text that says, I'm a huge Illinois sports fan. My dream job would get paid to write about them. Advice.
Come to college at Illinois.
Yep.
That would be number one. Get involved with the Daily Illini. He wants to write about them, right?
Yep.
Not just talk about them. Get involved with the Daily Illini. Intern at the News Gazette. Ask if you could help out with a beat covering the Fighting Illini. That's what I would do. You're the writer here. What would you do?
Work for free for a while.
Well, yeah, that's for sure.
Work your butt off.
Yep.
Don't turn down opportunities. Don't think you've made it right away.
Okay, that's fair enough. And
you got to work your butt off to make it in this business, and then to try to make money doing it.
Right.
It's really, really
That's tough.
difficult.
And I can tell you this, that I will never mention names, but behind the scenes, I've asked you about a few kids, and you've told me flat out, well, they worked really hard, and I told the U of I that, or I told this person that. So it makes a difference.
Yeah, I've made some suggestions to people I've worked around or with.
Yep.
If they worked hard, I would back them up. If they didn't, I'd say, well, I'm going to give my honest opinion to whoever's hiring. But I've suggested some people for jobs, and they've gotten
Absolutely.
those jobs.
When you're interning, you never know, right? We just had Kevin, the tall one, is going to want to move to Atlanta, and he wants to do digital marketing. So I've got a buddy that works for CNN. And I'm like, well, let me get a hold of him and see if there's any jobs down there. And then I found out he actually just moved to the Weather Channel, but I'm checking to see if he knows anybody at CNN. You never know. If you're interning somewhere, I don't care who it is, you work your butt off and you be nice to everybody because you never know who's got a lead for a job.
That was a serious Tay question, but I
heck?
liked it. Lon, it's winter, almost. Any weather-related mistakes you've made on the road? I've spun out into a ditch before.
In a heartbeat. Yes. One time, grew up in Patterson Springs in Camargo, between Camargo and Tuscola. Came over the railroad tracks a little fast, and it's a sharp little right turn right there, and I overcorrected and went into the ditch, and about 2 seconds later, the Camargo Fire Department, they were doing a big stag that night, bunch of party, card playing, guys having some beer, and a guy drives by that sees me in the ditch. He pulls over. We go in and get a bunch of guys that were a bit inebriated, and we brought out a big old. These were not firefighters, by the way. We brought out a big old truck, and they pulled me out of the ditch. It was awesome. Otherwise, I would have been walking home in my shorts.
Paul, can Lon do the foot bottle challenge?
Yes.
Have you ever done it?
Yeah, I have, and I hate it.
Did you successfully do it?
Oh, yeah, I've done it. You mean where you're just flipping it up in the air and it lands?
The water bottle
Oh, yeah,
challenge.
I've done it before.
Paul
I hate that thing.
Paul also asks, if you're late to the airport gate, are you more likely to run to the gate or walk and get a later flight?
I'm a walker with a later flight. I've been doing this before.
Run to the gate.
I mean, I've been doing this before. I mean, I've done that before.
Yeah.
I've just walked up and it is what it is. Because I usually am that guy, though, seriously, that's there about 2 hours before.
Yeah, me too.
That's me. But I have been in that situation where I'm like, there's nothing I can do about it. This happened in Vegas when Mom and I were flying home from Vegas. It was so crowded, and Mom's in a panic, and I'm like, Mom, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
If we're late, we're late. I mean, if we can't get there, we can't get there. We'll fly home later.
Yeah. Brad, would you rather be guaranteed to hit the green in regulation every hole or be guaranteed a 2-putt every hole?
Oh, my goodness. Green in regulation in a heartbeat. Because I don't think my putting's awful. If you get me on the green, that means the worst case I'm going to do is a 5.
Yeah.
If I don't hit it in regulation, I'm OB or I'm in the sand. Green in regulation in a heartbeat.
2 more quick ones.
Okay.
TCR podcast. If you could, which Illinois basketball alum would you bring back to help this year's team?
Holy smoke. I think we're solid at point guard.
Kendall Gill.
Yeah, I mean,
Be
how
a
would you?
tough athletic guard, get to the rim,
good call.
defends.
Good call. I was thinking about a George Montgomery.
I want a 2-way guard.
George Montgomery would get me 12 rebounds a game. I kind of want that toughness.
You want that guy? Hey,
Yeah, I want
it's
George
Tay
Montgomery.
Steak, not Warner's.
Well, how do you not go Kendall Gill, though?
Brad, last one. Favorite holiday treat?
Favorite holiday treat? I love candy canes. I really do. I just love candy canes.
Yeah,
I'm the guy that goes to the anybody's house and I pull candy canes off the
because nobody else eats them, so
nobody
Lon
else.
eats them.
Exactly. So
By the way, this is our yearly call.
Yes.
If you have random candy canes, drop them off for Lon. I'm serious about this.
And a guy did last year, brought off like 250 of them.
He'll eat them the rest of the year. He was sucking on candy canes in here in July.
Yes, if you have, now don't do it until after Christmas because I want you to enjoy them. Right. Or your kids to enjoy them. But if you've got extra, come out and bring them to the station in a heartbeat.
By the way, the correct answer is the peanut butter cookies with a Hershey Kiss in them.
Oh, how about the covered pretzels? Chocolate covered
those
pretzels,
are good
whatever
too.
they have. That,
My mom makes these pecans with a bunch of sugar on them.
Can you bring me some of those? Yeah, sure. Because you know I
She
love
sends
pecans.
me a huge box of them every year.
Please. No, my mom, and then we've got 30 seconds here. Jan will make oatmeal cookies.
Those are good.
Which I'm not a huge cookie guy, but her oatmeal cookies, so I'll bring some up for you and Tiff. Torrin's too young.
He'll get them next year. Austin Berkland, thank you. James Woodard, thank you. Thanks to our guests, Joe Sheehan, Kendall Gill, Garrick McGee.
Wow, all-star
Heck of a
lineup.
show. Get the podcast, ESPNCU.com, or find us on iTunes, all powered by GTPS Insurance.
Well done in getting those guests. That's awesome. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow. It is the Tay and J Show.
Lon, you got the guest tomorrow.
What?
You already know Houlihan's Restaurant and Bar at the iHotel is a great restaurant, but don't forget about the bar. Fantastic drink specials and mouth-watering menu items from snacks to full meals. A nice selection of draft, craft, and domestic beers, and just about any cocktail you can imagine. Watch a game with multiple flat screens on all sides of the bar, or grab some tables and make it a party. Drink specials daily, plus Houlihan's is now serving a delicious hot breakfast 7 days a week. Houlihan's at the iHotel. Check them out at the corner of 1st Street and St. Mary's Road, just south of the State Farm Center.
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
BTN Live on the way in just under 40 seconds with bowl games weeks away. We take a look back at how the season unfolded for teams around the Big. Plus, we dive into the coaching changes around the conference, which teams took a loss, and what program has the most to gain. Also, after a roller coaster 8-4 season, Iowa head coach Kirk Ferentz joins the show to talk the challenges the Hawkeyes have faced and their bowl matchup against the Gators. Jerry DiNardo talks recruiting around the Big Ten, and Sean Morris joins us to talk hoops. It all starts right now on BTN Live.
Dave Revson, Amina Smith with you. Jerry DiNardo and Sean Morris join us next for BTN Live.
That's right. We're talking bowl games, coaching changes, and even some short pants on today's show. A look at teams bouncing back on the hardwood and matchups you're not going to want to miss.
All that plus a chat with Iowa's Kirk Ferentz. BTN Live now.